Oh, why is my Skype being weird? You gotta be kidding me. Hold on, everybody. Let me see if I can fix my Skype real quick. Why are you being a jerk, Skype? All because I restarted my video. So hold on, audience. Okay. And we're back. Okay. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to session 1 proper of Heliotrope Cathedral, a needle made of thread. Excited to stream this live and record it and, you know, have it for, you know, future editing and video producing. I just wanted to introduce you guys real quick and then, you know, say hi to the audience and stuff. Thanks for joining us on the Fratscat channel. I am your resident silly dad gamer Fratscat, and I'll get back to talking about the guys and everything and getting them on Skype. So give me just 1 second here. All right, so we will we'll do quick introductions with the guys and highlight the high concept of their characters. And oh, hey Anthony, hey, how's it going, man? And what do you like? What do you think of the new overlay that Dan and I sort of workshopped? I think it's pretty sharp. So I will throw up everybody's webcams here so you can say so you can see everybody nice and big. So Dan, who is our resident game master, Dan.
It's me.
Whoops. Let's go ahead and sorry, and I don't know why that happened.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I'm Dan. I'm the GM for this campaign at Heliotrope Cathedral. It's a multi-parter. The last five or six session section was unnamed. This one is named A Needle Made of Thread. And after we do intros, I'll do a little brief recap and explain the new system we'll be using.
Cool. Ted, why don't you go? You're the newcomer.
I am Ted. Hello. I am playing Talab. And the high concept for my character is all in the pursuit of love. And he's a faith healer also. So that's it.
You guys know me from the channel. I'm Frats, or Frats Cat, if you will. You guys know Jonas from the first section of Heliotrope Cathedral. So I'll be continuing his role. And the high concept we're using is becoming a god is blasphemy until one succeeds. Kurt?
Hi, I'm Kurt. I'm playing Dabris, the scoundrel, rogue, gangster, as it were, from the first campaign. And my persona, my high concept is there are no men like me.
And Bill?
Hey, I'm Bill. My character is Verk. And my high concept is the dim-witted pugilist of the pit.
All right. So, Dan, did you want to take it away?
Yeah, let's take it away, guys. All right, so this campaign follows our formerly 3, now with Ted here, 4 adventurers living in a world destined to die. They find themselves all criminals, all imprisoned for different crimes. Over the course of the first session, the prison is destroyed, and along with it, the rest of the entire world. They learn that they are part of a vast multiverse, which is either dying or dead. All around them are worlds that are corrupted, destroyed beyond repair, circling this vast graveyard of the gods and of the multiverse. And they hop from world to world looking for a way out, for safety, for sanctuary. They begin to hear rumors of something called a Heliotrope Cathedral, unsure of what it is in any sense, but it being the only lead they have to go on, they pursue this legend and come across, in every world, familiar faces, warped and twisted from the faces they once knew from their own world. They learn a couple of fascinating things, one of which is that this graveyard of worlds is slightly divinely morphic. Through the power of the divine, and in a very small sense, through the power of their own personal convictions and force of will, they're able to modify this world, to transform it in some capacity. With their very small, certainly non-deific power, they can only transform it very slightly and only for a short period of time. And they are being hounded as they hop from world to world, not only by the denizens of every world, but by a figure known as King, who leads a squad of soldiers with incredibly high-tech weaponry. And he hunts them from world to world, looking very specifically for the device, this compass that they had found on their very first world, the compass which allows them to travel, to world hop, to move from place to place, although with certain restrictions and requirements that they are beginning to decipher as they travel. We concluded last campaign with our party successfully evading King at the moment that he had cornered them and hopping to a world to which he could not track them. They learned that the reason he was able to track them is because every time that they turn on the device to gather data and to navigate this strange, corrupted, destroyed world space, that's how he tracks them. So they port to a world and then turn off the device. Along with them for the ride is a young girl who has remained nameless. She speaks a language they don't understand. She's notable because she seems to have a better understanding of the Heliotrope Cathedral and has spent her whole life searching for it, and is traveling with our party because she believes that they either know where it is or know how to get to it. By now, it's safe to say that she probably figured out that you don't know where it is, but you're better than nothing, and the world that she just came from was probably destroyed, so here she is. She's also notable because she has prehensile magical hair that's about 7 feet long. A little bit, very briefly, about the system we're playing and how it's going to interact with the narrative. This system is called Fate, sometimes called, I think the latest edition is called Fate Core. And Fate's really cool because it is a system we're in, and this is actually cool for you guys because we haven't talked too much about the core ethos of Fate, but it is a system we're in. You do not operate mechanically on the simulation of the world. You operate on the fiction. You change the story. Your character is fueled by aspects. The world is fueled by aspects. These aspects are truths about the world, about your characters, about the story. There can be a truth that governs the tone of the world you're in. There can be a truth that governs the scene in which you're operating. There are very palpable aspects, like this room is currently on fire. And there are much more nebulous aspects, like in this world, everything ends in tragedy. As we play and as we navigate this multiverse, one cool thing about Fate is it establishes a concrete link to the in-world mechanics. As I mentioned, in the grave and in this dying multiverse, your characters have an ability, however small and however limited, to impose their truth upon the world, to morph it ever so slightly to give themselves an edge, or... Oh, I see my Skype failed. I don't know what to tell you. I see it on my end. I
Ding.
will...
Ding, ding, ding.
I will restart it.
Oh no, it's gonna make me resize you. Go ahead.
No device found.
You
Uh-oh.
accidentally turned off your webcam, buddy.
I'm gonna have to just leave.
I mean, do what you need
All right,
to do to
that's
fix
session.
it.
That's session, guys.
All right, cool. Next week on Dragon Ball Z, Goku is still powering up. Ah!
I was gonna say Dan is still reading the intro.
Yeah. Open Skype. How do you quit Skype again? Because this is an impossible program.
Dan, it doesn't. You don't quit Skype. Skype quits you.
Yeah, no, it's funny, but Skype says you need to restart Skype, and I'm like, your whole thing is no one can turn you off.
What's the matter, Dan?
Hal, open the pod bay doors.
And mine.
It's funny because it's terrifying.
I wonder, is there a lock aspect ratio? Maybe that's what I'm missing. Is there a transform lock? Scaling? No.
My webcam is working. It's got the little light on it and everything.
Can I suggest something?
Sure.
Let me find it.
This is not a stream for us to be interested in praising Skype. That's. Oh, everybody's thing is like that. Yeah, I wish there was like a, hey, lock, all this is transfer. I don't think there is, though. Alright, let's go back to D&D, see if Dan's back. Nope, Dan's not back.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, here's what you do. See if this is because remember when I was having issues with Skype,
Yeah,
so maybe
yeah.
it's the same thing. Go to Windows, go to search or the gear or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Type in privacy, and then click camera.
Okay.
Is allow apps to access your camera on or off?
It is on, and
Okay, turn
Skype
that off and on, and then see if that fixes things.
It's so weird that it happened like after we go live. We've been in a call for 30 minutes.
And it's also never happened before. we've never had a problem with Microsoft.
Oh no, first problem with Skype altogether.
Right. Welcome to Heliotrope Cathedral, the Twitch channel where we
Troubleshoot Skype.
troubleshoot Skype.
For other D&D streamers, obviously.
Yeah, guys, this is a little tutorial on how to use Skype. The first thing you want to do is not actually use Skype.
Yeah. The first thing you want to do is pay for premium versions of Discord.
Which also don't do the thing you want. Yeah, it's not working. I am gonna restart
Sure.
my computer, which is a shame
I mean,
because I have my Windows set up how I like.
What part's not working? Because you're not in the call.
Well, right. When I load up Skype and I go to join the call, it's like, hey, FYI, you're joining this call without a camera because your camera doesn't work.
Got it. Okay.
And in general, when I just load into Skype at all, it's like, hey, FYI, camera's off. So let me see if it's a...
Have you tried unplugging and plugging it back in?
You know what? I didn't. And that's...
Just slap the side of the CPU.
No camera was detected.
Slap the side of the CPU and tell it how many webcams can you fit in here in this bad boy.
My USB...
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that.
port isn't failing.
I mean, like literally, like it was 8:15 and your thing just like turned off.
I used to have it plugged into my keyboard, but we were having audio problems when that happened. So I moved it to plug into the front USB port of my tower.
Well, that's always a problem.
Okay, it's definitely the USB port. I just unplugged something plugged in next to it. And now it's working. This is insane.
What kind of webcam do you have?
Exact whatever Frats has, the C920?
The 920, yeah.
Okay, because mine had issues in the very beginning. Same thing. Where if it was plugged into a USB port and my Xbox controller was plugged in next to it, it wouldn't.
Yep, that's exactly what was plugged in next to it, too. It was my Xbox One controller. So that's really fascinating. All right. I'm back. Frats, are you able to put me back into the stream or no?
I don't see your video.
Oh, really? I
got a big old DJ icon.
Hey, Mr. DJ.
How is it every stream?
Every stream.
There's something.
I want to know how other D&D streams don't have this.
Well, they're all in the same room usually.
Oh,
There
damn
you
it.
are. There you are. You're back.
Yay! And I don't have to
Yay.
resize anything. It's amazing.
Fantastic. Anyway, Fate. Here's how Fate works. All right. So in this world, these characters can.
Nope, I gotta resize you.
Oh boy.
No, go ahead.
Very slightly, and in moments of great peril, change the world around them in some way, in some capacity. They assert their truth upon the world. Very conveniently, in Fate, you use these Fate tokens, we're calling them truth tokens for this campaign, to activate your aspect and invoke or compel them, positively or negatively, and change fundamentally the narrative. We're making that concrete. This is happening outside of the game, as the characters use the game mechanics, and also in the world itself. Characters are going to become aware of aspects. They're going to become aware of the fact that they have this ability to change, in effect, the narrative of their lives, which I think is really cool. And we're going to explore what that means and the cool we can do with that once we start playing. Without further ado, this party is all new to Fate, so as we playing, we're going to be learning the ropes. We're going to be learning the fundamental mechanics of Fate. So if you've never played Fate before, this actually is going to be, I think, a really good session to learn how to do it, as these four gentlemen are going to be learning alongside of you. I will ask you guys for a little bit of not leniency, but allow me some leeway here as we start. Last arc ended in a way that I did not find conducive to starting a new arc. So I'm going to skip you guys forward in time a few months. I'm going to put you in a place you are unfamiliar with. I'm going to put you in a situation you're unfamiliar with. You're going to start, as I like to start most of my campaigns, in medias res, in the very middle of a scene, in the middle of the action. The implication being you guys have been traveling together for some time. So you're, if not friends, at least respected cohorts. If not beloved allies, you're at least partners in crime, as it were. Ted, playing Talab, is the only one here that is not part of the party, so we're going to bring him in over the course of this first arc here. And I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to start. Frats, you have everybody sized? Did everyone get like unsized for some reason?
They did.
Fantastic.
Because it's Skype.
It's Skype. And I have Fate dice. Let me just click the Fate dice roll here.
Yeah, doesn't that work? Isn't that awesome? Yeah.
It's very cool. Oh, so I'm going to be rolling for everybody because we're trying to figure out what you guys are okay with that. The GM rolling. You don't think I'm cheating. But I'm going to be clicking the Fate dice over there in the right beneath my portrait, and that's going to be everybody's roll. So when you guys want me to roll, I'll be happy to click it. And if you don't like the roll, then fuck you. There's that.
Everybody gets a practice roll.
Everybody gets a practice roll. Yeah. You get one practice roll per session.
Oh, yeah, that would actually be...
What? Everyone gets a roll they get to discard?
Including you, Dan. Including you.
Mulligan. Including me. I don't need them. I'm the GM. I'll just keep rolling until I get the thing I want, and no one can stop me. I'll just declare the aspect that I get the thing I want. All right. So, gentlemen, as you may know, there are 9 kinds of worlds in the multiverse. No matter what the world is, no matter what its history is, no matter how it died or how it lived, it follows one of 9 ways, one of 9 aspects. The aspect of songs, the aspect of cathedrals, the aspect of crucibles, of ruin, of worms, of madness, of constellations, of broken marble, and of oceans. You're not entirely sure why these worlds, regardless of how they lived or how they died, follow these 9 ways, but you've noticed this pattern. The device, the compass, which you have taken to calling the fractal compass because, as I mentioned before, as it expands and contracts and explores the worlds, it does so visually like a fractal. The pieces of it endlessly spiral out. And it is exploring a multiverse that is itself endlessly fractaled. This world that you find yourselves in for this session is a world of crucibles. So I'm going to start off by putting an aspect into play here. And if you guys notice on your... We didn't test this. Is it coming up on your character sheet? Do you guys see...
It is.
Fantastic. The world aspect here, a crucible of flesh and spirit. Now, in this world, as we adventure, you can call upon this aspect. This aspect is in play for anyone in this world. I can call on it, you can call on it. And when you find yourself somewhere where the fact that this place, the tone of this world, the way in which it operates, is as a crucible for both your body and your mind, if that is something that you can use positively, you spend a truth point, you invoke it, add 2 to your roll, or re-roll your dice entirely. And if you find that this can change the story in a negative direction, you can compel it, receiving a truth token for your troubles, and using this crucible to drive the story in a direction perhaps not conducive to your well-being. As we begin, the deck of the ship is flooded with water. The sky racked with storms, rain falling in torrents, lightning distant and dim, bright enough to illuminate the decks only momentarily, only enough to see dimly the ropes flailing about. The storm and thunder so loud that it's hard to hear the voices of any sailors that are not right beside you. You gentlemen are on a ship. The ship is called the Glass Domino, and it is captained by Captain Rilo. I'm going to put her aspect into play right up here on the scene. Captain Rilo, luck on her side. Captain Rilo has never lost a ship. Captain Rilo has never failed a mission. Captain Rilo, smuggler supreme, has never been caught because luck is on her side. At the bow, what's the back of the ship? This one always gets me. The aft?
Yes.
The aft. At the aft of the ship, there is the young girl. You have taken to calling her the Navigator, mostly because the fractal compass calls her the Navigator. You see, when she acquired that compass, she began to speak to it in a language you didn't understand, but the compass certainly did. And as I mentioned last arc, as you grow with it and it explores more worlds and it evolves, it begins to grow a more subtle sort of intelligence. You still can't speak whatever strange language it is she speaks, but she doesn't seem to mind anymore, because whatever she wants, the compass communicates it to you. It tells you the Navigator says we should go this way. The Navigator has alerted you that this is the world of crucibles. The Navigator is hungry. The Navigator and the fractal compass are at the aft, her eyes scanning the horizon in all directions that are there, and quite a few directions that are not. She is seeing beyond the immediate. She is seeing into the grave of worlds. She is looking for a way out. The Navigator does not believe that this ship is long for this world in this storm. Jonas, I'm going to put an aspect into play here for you. Jonas, you are busy studying the tale of St. August. This is a story you found on your travels here in this world of crucibles, and you picked it up before you got on this ship, the Glass Domino. This story is a myth of this world. It's called in some places the myth of the pilgrimage of St. August, or the life and death of St. August. And initially you thought it to be a children's fairy tale or a morality tale. But as you look deeper, you found yourself drawn to his story, and shortly you realized why. St. August is on a quest for the Heliotrope Cathedral. No one in this world believes in such a thing. It's a children's tale. It's an old myth. But you don't believe in coincidences, do you, Jonas? And you've been studying this tale obsessively. Even in the middle of this storm, you are in the hold, holding a lantern with one hand, poring over this text. You believe sincerely that there is a secret here, a secret that may well help you out of your predicament. Davros, you have the aspect swashbuckler in chief. Now, maybe you're wondering, to what are you buckling your swash? Well, in this world of crucibles, they are tested by men, by fate, by sometimes the gods, but on this voyage, tested by something very new. Monsters of the deep. Monsters they've never encountered and only heard about in distant legends. Legends they had long assumed to be completely fictitious. These strange, many-tentacled oozes are clambering aboard the ship mid-storm, opening their forms to reveal a many-toothed claw, grabbing sailors, pulling them off the ship. They lost the captain of the guard, the ship's first mate, 2 days ago. And since then, you stepped up and have declared yourself, in not so many words, swashbuckler in chief. The men believe in you immediately. You have such confidence, such skill, that as you direct them across the ship to take down, to guard the port or the starboard, to hoist this or that, to defend the ship from this onslaught of monsters, they believe you and they follow your command. You are right now at this moment jabbing your blade into the heart of one of these oozy tentacled monstrosities, right through its many-toothed maw, in whatever strange brain or heart it has. Regardless, it slumps off the ship dead. Verk, your aspect is pressed into rigging service. I don't know why it's turning green there. One of the it's got a additional formatting. There you go. One of the sailors, an able-bodied seaman, master of the rigging, master of the sails, perished yesterday. You are not the most seaworthy, but you are the most able-bodied. And so as these men struggle to fight the storm, you are pulling the ropes and hoisting and directing the sails as only a man of your might can do. If you were to abandon this post, it would bode ill for the ship, as there's not many men left with the strength or fortitude to man the rigging, especially in a storm like this. Talab. You don't know these men very well, and your aspect is ship surgeon in lieu of fare. You happened to board passage upon this smuggler's ship at the same port which the party did. Your goal is a distant land across the ocean, and being a wanderer, you don't often have much coin to your name, but the ship was in need of a doctor. And so you have volunteered your services as medical practitioner in lieu of fare. These gentlemen, I believe, had to pay their way aboard. You are currently in the hold, stitching up a man whose arm has been bitten clean off by one of the beasts, and you are trying desperately to stop the bleeding.
Okay.
I'm also going to put into play for the world aspect, for this world at least. The navigator searches the grave. As I mentioned, the navigator is up on the aft, searching for a way out or a way forward. There's one other aspect, and Jonas, this is of interest to you. In St. August's search for the Rose Garden, I'm sorry, for the Heliotrope Cathedral, he came across a mystical place called the Rose Garden, which housed untold secrets. It's rumored that the Rose Garden holds every secret ever told, which is why St. August journeys there to find the location of the Heliotrope Cathedral. And so, there's an aspect in play, an aspect you believe to be true, Jonas, called The Old Rose Garden Knows Everything. Jonas, you are on your way there right now. To your knowledge, across the distant ocean is the Old Rose Garden. Talab, you've heard of this land as well. you've heard Jonas whisper to himself about this rose garden, and you find it curious that this man has heard the very same rumors you have, which is that in this old rose garden, there's the truth of love. The most hidden secret, the innermost truth of this world, the wellspring of love, the understanding of passion itself. It seems difficult to believe that any depository of secrets could hold so ephemeral a truth. But you are nothing if not a man in search of love, and you will stop at nothing and try every possible avenue to learn this truth. So those are aspects in play, gentlemen. The world aspects: a crucible of flesh and spirit. The old rose garden knows everything. The navigator searches the grave. I'll turn that to a scene aspect, because that is not necessarily always a truth. Jonas, you are studying the tale of St. August. Davros, you are a swashbuckler in chief. Verk, you are pressed into rigging service. And Talab, you are a ship's surgeon in lieu of fare. Captain Rilo, luck on her side, calls from the aft, "Hard to starboard," and the sailors follow suit. Verk, hard to starboard. If you could roll me physique, please, with an ob of 2. Or rather, I will roll you physique with an ob of 2.
I would roll if I could.
Yeah. We did try to. This wasn't like a purposeful DM grab. We just couldn't figure out how to get everyone access to the same thing. So
No, it's fine.
so I'm making this roll for you right now.
It is a 3 for me.
Did it state? Did that terrible?
It looked like it re-rolled. Hold on.
It was a change because the previous terrible had 2 minuses on the left hand.
Got it. Okay. So
Correct.
It did change.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. So with a -2 on the roll, and you have a 3 physique,
Yes.
it puts you at a 1. You need a 2 to be able to turn this rigging so the ship will turn itself starboard. To turn
Which
the
way's left?
sails. Left is port, so you want to go right. Starboard
No.
is right.
Vert.
Oh, I got you. Now, it's fate. You can hold on to this failure, or you can spend a truth and burn an aspect to add 2 to your score, or to re-roll the dice.
We'll let it go.
We'll let it go. Okay, so you pull on the rigging. Explain to me why it doesn't work. What happens?
More or less for what I just said.
You literally don't know which way to start. Hard to pour. And one other thing to be aware of in Fate, it is incumbent upon not only the GM but the players to build the world and to build the scene. You can suggest aspects. You can put aspects in play. And I expect as we go forward that you guys to be active participants in constructing the very mechanics which govern the narrative. So, ship goes hard to port. Davros.
I was gonna say when I see this when I see Burke struggling, again, I don't know if this is invoking my current aspect or if it's just something of me taking my station. Davros will see him struggling, and you point out to 2 guys that are close to him. Help! Jump on the rigging. Let's go.
Normally, if you're going to do that, you want to give him a +2 specifically, right? You want to help this roll, or would you like to have these guys roll?
I am seeing him struggle, and then I'm telling them to help him, so it would be after.
It'd be after his roll? You
Yes.
cut out. Okay, so you're making your own roll. All right, so these guys have able-bodied sailors. I'm going to say they have a physique of 2. So I am going to roll once, and if on an ob of 2, they will succeed. Frats, I'm not seeing movement.
I don't know. Hold on.
Click it again. No.
Yeah, bring it up one more time. There you go.
Fantastic. A mediocre, but with their 2 in physique, They reach a good. They all clamber over to you. And as they start pulling, you realize you've made the wrong call. You try to remember now, oh, that's right, starboard is that way. And they pull the rigging. Rilo doesn't seem to notice. So quickly is your execution of that command, Davros. The ship goes hard to starboard just in time to avoid a rock that you didn't know was there and Captain Rilo could not possibly have seen. But luck is always on her side. As you continue to sail, Jonas, you're in the hold. The ship's rocking back and forth. You hear above decks this command, and the ship, being first pulled hard to port and then hard to starboard, rocks violently. Does this shake you from your studying of this tale?
Does it shake me from my focus on looking through the tail? No, but I think for a moment I give my focus away. Like it takes my focus away, and I think to myself, Burke, it's to the right. and then I return. With the slosh and the violence of the whatever, but I go back to reading the tale.
There is a line here that you're having trouble decrypting, as it were. It's all. What's your opinion of poetry, Jonas, in general?
Of what's Jonas's opinion?
Yes.
It's a pretty good form of art. Yeah. It's,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Therein poetry lies. Through all art, I think. Jonas is going to look as a way to look into an author's soul. That an author paints a picture either through words or physical paintings or whatever, and so there's a piece of the divine in being able to see someone's soul.
Okay, all right. So then perhaps this poetry doesn't really turn him off, but he's still having trouble deciphering what it means. There is across the way, at the end of the sea, an abyss. And upon this abyss, a lighthouse blinks, eternal. There's no lighthouse across this way on any map. There's certainly no abyss anywhere. You had tried for a couple days to consult the various shipping charts back at the port, and found nothing that could match this description. Nothing that even poetically matched the description. Not even a land shrouded in darkness. There was no rumors of a whirlpool. Nothing that could serve as an abyss upon which a lighthouse is somehow perched. So we tried to decipher, what does he mean by this? Is the abyss some kind of dark night of the soul? Is it a depression? Is the lighthouse God? Is it hope? What is this? But it is something St. August is drawn to, and upon which finding leads him to the Rose Garden, which presumably leads him to the Heliotrope Cathedral. As you ponder this, you are too engrossed in your tale that you don't notice the little wriggling, slimy, many-toothed ooze that clambers through the porthole and slithers towards you. I'd like you to roll me notice.
I'd like you to roll me notice.
Oh my god, this is going to be a terrible... This is going to take... Oh boy. I already don't like this. I'm gonna switch it that you guys have control somehow. What's your notice score?
Just a 1.
Okay, so you're at a -1. And it is not until it is too late you feel the tentacles wrap around your... Actually, you don't even feel the first tentacle wrap your boot. You only feel when the maw clamps down on your leg, and you feel the immense pain. So I'm going to roll fight for this little creature. Turns out I was clicking the dice too fast before. Well, it's only got a 1, and it rolled a -1, so it rolled no damage to you, no stress, but you feel the bite marks on your trousers. And it turns out it just catches its teeth on the folds of your pants, perhaps your cloak, if you wear a cloak. What do you do?
I guess I jump up and shine the lantern down on my trousers,
Mm-hmm.
my pantaloons,
Yeah.
immediately to see what did I get snagged on a piece of the ship or piece of lumber or a tool or something, or is something trying to bite me?
You see the thing trying to bite you.
Well then, yeah, then I do the fun little dance that everybody does to try to get the small thing off of me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you going to roll for that?
That is a good question. Isn't there a I don't think I took anything
Wanted
that
to be top tipper.
would. Oh damn. Well, hey. So while we were messing around, Slender just resubscribed and threw us $5. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Slender.
I am going to try to empathize. No.
Mm-hmm. With the ooze.
I guess I just have to do a base roll of. I mean, it would make sense for me. I guess physique, right?
If that's what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any of the other skills. I haven't taken any additional bonuses in any of the other skills that would make sense. So physique or athletics, either way, it's the same roll. So
Okay, I think athletics makes more sense, but either
Okay.
way, you said it's the same roll.
yeah, it would be. It's at a 0.
Okay, well, this thing is many tentacled, as I said, and many. So it's going to take a 2 to get this thing off of you. And with a 0 bonus of 0, you have to roll pretty well. -1 poor. You are 3 below this roll, and it stays latched onto you. So, do you want to burn any aspects? Burn any truth, rather? You'd need to burn 2 to have a guaranteed success here, because each one adds 2 to your roll. Or you could gamble and see if a reroll will serve you well.
I'll.
It's not that deep.
It is though. I mean, you're counter rolling me, so can I just accept the failure and gain a truth?
That's not how that works. So you can just not do anything, and that's fine, and the thing stays latched onto you.
Yeah, then
problem.
that's fine.
In order to get compelled and accept and get a truth, you have to fundamentally change the direction of the narrative negatively. You have to, a negative thing has to happen for sure, and you can't like counter it or anything like that. So this thing continues to clamber up your body and is furiously trying to bite you, and it's getting its teeth caught on the folds of your clothes. As we mentioned, they're pretty thick and unruly, and it worse is clambering up your arm and is as it's lashing out, it knocks the tail of St. August right out of your hand. It clambers under the floor, and you hear a splash as it is now soaked in water. The beast continues to assault you. It's going to attack you one more time now, sinking its teeth into your hand, which is exposed. Oof. Total of 3. Roll me physique for defense, please. I will roll your physique. God, this takes all the fun out of it, actually.
Dan.
Yeah.
Does everybody here have actual dice? What if we rolled? And
we could, and then you have to look.
What?
No, we like this. This is better for the stream. 100%.
It is.
100%.
It is better for the stream. I'm not wild about. We can work out on a different stream if we can fix.
By next session we can figure out how other people can roll. Yep.
Okay, so your physique is 0. That is a -1. That is it beats you by a total of 3, which gives it a boost. So whenever you beat something by more than 2, you succeed with style. So this little ooze succeeded with style on biting you, putting a boost in play. So Jonas, I got a little boost here against you. I mark it with a minus sign so we know that this is a negative boost. Wrapped up in goo. Put a little, there we go. So you are wrapped up in goo, Jonas, and you're no longer studying the Tale of St. August. I'm going to remove that aspect from the board. It is on the floor and is increasingly getting soaked in salt water. This little creature has you completely wrapped up, and you're now covered in slime. And also, you took 3 points of damage, as it were. So let's learn about stresses and consequences. If you look on your sheet at the very bottom, you see you have, I believe, 2 physical stress boxes, 3 mental stress boxes, and 3 consequences. So on a 3-point hit, you can soak it a number of different ways. You can soak it with your 2-point physical, right? So that's 2 out of the 3 damage, which leaves 1 left over that you have to allocate somewhere. You can't ever allocate something to more than 1 stress box at a time. So if you got hit for 3 damage, would check off your number 2 stress box. That's 2 points gone. And the 1 goes over into your consequences, occupying your most minor consequence slot. Does that make sense? I know it's kind of an odd system.
Yeah? Nobody's responding. Yes?
I'm asking you specifically, Frats, because you're the one getting hit.
Oh, yeah? Well, just say that very last part again.
Okay. So you've got... The hit has to go somewhere. It can go to your stresses. You can see physical and mental stress. Or it can go to your consequence.
Okay.
You don't want consequences like wounds, and physical and mental stress are like vigor. So you obviously want to help your vigor first. It was 3 points, and you can't have it occupy more than 1 stress box at a time. So it's going to use up your, as we can see, right? You can actually have it knock out your number 1 physical stress when I filled in for you. So there's an X right there, right? Mm-hmm. That shaves 1 point off of it. So now it's only a 2-point hit. So it would occupy your 2-point consequence slot. So now you have a 2-point consequence. I'm going to call it many-toothed bite. Okay? So you had hit for 3. If we add up the 1 physical stress and 2-point consequence, we get 3. Right? So you're missing 1 stress, and you now have a many-toothed bite on your arm. Does that track?
Sure.
Okay. So, you are in dire straits right now, and this thing has a boost on you, meaning next time it tries to do something, it's going to have a bonus to it because you are wrapped up in its goo. What do you do next?
I'm able to physically maneuver around the hold, right?
Your legs are unencumbered. Yeah, this thing's on your arm.
Yeah, so Jonas will calmly try to walk out of the hold up to the deck to alert people for some assistance.
Is he doing the like, I'm calm because I'm freaking out, but I'm composed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This thing is currently gnawing, by the way, on his arm. It's just gnawing on it. He's not making any attempt now to shake it off. It's just kind of just chilling there. And Ted's gone. Okay, I had a thing for Ted for this scene, so we'll skip Ted for now. Davros, up on the deck of the ship. Roll me notice, please.
Roll me notice.
I roll you notice. Yep. Okay, now I'm never gonna learn. You're talking about like 17 years of experience that I have to overwrite, asking people to roll things. What's your notice score?
My notice is a 1.
A 1. So you do not notice this thing. What you don't notice is that the clambering aboard the side of the ship is a creature many times the size of the other. You notice it completely come aboard because it's this thick, black, almost oily creature, and it's lost in the darkness of the sea and the storm. And finally, you see it. It has 3 or 4 heads. You can't quite tell as it keeps kind of changing shape in the dim lightning flashes. It's got as many mouths as it has heads at any given time, and they seem to be chomping in different directions, as if it is being almost Hydra-like. Like this thing has a couple different ideas of what it wants to do. Many tentacles, and it is grabbing sailors. They're fighting. They're trying to chop off the tentacles. And most concerningly, whenever the 3 or 4 or 5 heads happen to turn, almost as if it was an accident or coincidence, in the same direction, you hear a single note, like of a song. Not off key either, as if it is coming from these disparate, shifting throats. And when aligned perfectly, a single note, a single deep bass note. Verk, you see this creature climb aboard the ship. It is assaulting these sailors, and you see that Davros does not notice it until it's too late. The captain says, she shouts, "Hold fast, men, hold fast." You are currently wrapped up in this rigging, holding it fast, I imagine. What do you do?
I'm gonna hold it.
Okay.
She said to hold the. So I'm gonna hold.
Okay, so you don't move from your position.
Correct.
The creature is now grabbing men and tangling them all up. Talab, you're in the hold of the ship, stitching up this man. How's it going? How's this guy looking?
He's looking better, I think.
Yeah, you've done a good job.
I think he's. I mean, obviously, he thinks that this is the end of the world for him.
Right.
You know, losing an arm, like
Yeah.
he was losing an arm, right?
Right.
Lost an arm. But I'm like, what's your name, sailor?
He coughs and sputters. William.
William. It only takes one arm to find true love.
There's.
Trust me. You're going to be okay.
And so this actually plays as a sailor. His mind goes to a much place than I'm assuming when you say that. He starts chuckling on the surgeon's table. I imagine you don't get the perhaps double entendre of that joke, and maybe he does. Is that
But
fair?
either way, I don't get the double entendre.
But it has a good effect. It cheers him
But
up.
the effect is still
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. He kind of chuckles and spits up a little bit of blood. That's
Yeah.
quite a quote. As he chuckles, you hear kind of bumping around. I imagine you're not really walking in quite a straight line, Jonas, as you're kind of clambering up the ship. You don't quite have your sea legs, and there's a storm, and you're like, "Help!" Does he have his sea legs?
Well, first of all, Jonas's background is seaworthy. Yes.
Oh, okay.
However, this is the very definition of the sitcom, like, you know, covered in goo, covered in goo, covered in goo, covered in goo.
Yeah. So as he's covered in goo, help, covered in goo, help! If you can help me, covered, still goo, still help. You hear this outside as well as some bumping along the walls. Talab, just outside. You don't have the door closed or anything. This is an open like cabin area. There's no privacy here. And you see this man kind of stumbling about and waving his hand, and there's goo flying everywhere. You hear this like strange, gross gnawing sound of this disgusting creature wrapped around him.
William, hold this, and I want him to basically compress on him. And I rush out into the hall, and I see him,
Mm-hmm.
and I pull out a scimitar. And my friend, you need help? Can you? Does he see me?
I'm
Jonas?
assuming he sees you, Jonas.
Yeah. I'm
I come at you with the blade. I want to strike the ooze.
Okay.
So roll me
I will
A-
roll you.
fight. I believe.
Fight works if that's what you're rolling with the sword. I got a +1. It only needs a 2 to hit. What's your
Give
fight?
me- It's a 1.
Okay, that's a 2.
No, don't take his arm off.
Yeah, does Vert come to my rescue?
Nope, he's holding fast. So with a 2, as I said, that's a hit. The creature just like you cut it right down the middle. There's a nick on your arm. The blade just cuts a little bit too deep. Not enough to cause you any lasting harm, Jonas. And the creature just completely falls to the ground, split in half. Ooze now all around your feet now, completely covered in sticky goo now on the floor. In one single clean strike.
Are you okay?
Covered in goo?
Have we all met each other already?
Yeah, like
We
you're not
assume?
like maybe great friends, but you've been on the ship for a few days.
Jonas.
Let's
right?
say 5 or 6 days.
Jonas, right?
Yeah.
Do you need any assistance? I
You
don't
got
know.
you got something for this gusher?
His arm is like lightly bleeding.
Absolutely.
Actually,
come
no,
in.
it's a 2-point consequence, so there's actually a fair bit of coming out of this arm.
Actually, yeah, certainly I can help you with that. Come in. I have another patient already, and I'm pretty sure that we can salvage your arm.
You walk in and you see that you have this like decent-sized bite on your arm. This guy is missing his arm completely, been absolutely bitten off, and is struggling to use his other arm to staunch the flow of the remaining blood from that stump.
Oh, William, let me help you.
Is
Jonas, I'll be right back.
is every solution to your problems amputation? I was in the
Well,
hold when that happened, so
I mean, if the wound is infected, we may have to take the arm.
You look at your arm, Jonas, and you start to see the wound strangely.
I slowly pulled my sleeve up.
Did the ooze get in the wound?
I mean, he had the aspect and still does wrapped up in goo. So yes.
All right. I go over to my bag, and I look over my shoulder at him like, I think you'll be okay. And I have some herbs, and I just want to sort of rub these crush them a little bit to get the oils, rub them into the wound, and then I just bandage it up. I'm like,
yeah,
fine.
I'm not used to this application of herbs, but okay.
Back up. You guys hear a crash and some screams from up top. Back to you, Davros and Verk. So this beast now approaches.
Dan, before we come back to this scene,
yeah,
I was looking at Jonas's sheet. I actually have a 2 in notice, but I don't know if that would have made any difference.
I forget what you rolled, but I think you failed pretty hard.
It was 0 total before, so it would have been +1.
And you would have needed a 2.
Okay,
so no,
right.
So you would have failed. So this creature now it grabs a man and throws him completely overboard. And there starts to be some pen. You start to see men looking back and forth that they're losing their calm here. And you hear one of them actually just says, "This is it. This is the end. Oh God!" They start praying to all these different gods. Each of them has a different patron. And one of them falls to his knees and just prepares for this creature to. You see one of the heads looming over one of the men as if to swallow him whole.
So I actually see this thing now.
Yes.
Let's see. How far away?
So fate. Fate is broken up into zones of engagement when you're doing anything like this, and I'm going to divide the ship into. The GM divides the ship into whatever kind of zones he wants. I'm going to do 3 zones. There's the hull, so everything down there. There's the main deck of the ship, and there's whatever deck the captain with the wheel is on. I don't know what that's called, but there's the 4. We'll do 4 aft and hold. So there's 3 zones. This thing is on the 4. And so are you. So you're in the zone with it. You are in range. You're always considered. If you're in a zone with something, you can always hit it or interact with it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So seeing this and seeing the morale start to turn of all the deckhands, Davros is going to draw Brightholm's sword and said, "Men, you've been through worse. To arms. Take it down," and he'll charge in, taking a slash.
Are you rolling to inspire these men? So, in Fate, you can do 4 kinds of actions. You can attack or defend, as you are used to having. You can also overcome an obstacle or create an advantage. Creating an advantage puts an aspect, if you succeed, into play with 1 or perhaps more free invokes on it. This can be an aspect which affects the morale of these troops. So why don't you try rolling me, before you roll fight, try rolling me create advantage. What do you think would apply for this?
Well, I was going based off of the swashbuckler in chief, this role that he has taken on to be somewhat of a leader.
But what skill are you rolling?
Oh, that I have.
Yes. Unfortunately, he's not much of a leader of men. Doesn't look like he has any great
No.
skill. But with fate
Deceive.
points, well, maybe they have. These guys actually objectively have not been through worse. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to them. So you are lying when you
Sure.
tell them that they've been through worse.
There we go.
So roll me deceive, and if you want, go ahead and burn a truth. Drop your truth down to 2. Put 1 in your spent column, because you are burning your aspect, invoking your aspect swashbuckler in chief, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, are you going to try to do your dumb luck here?
Of course.
Okay.
So first, I need you to roll for
the deceive.
dumb luck. The dumb luck, right?
Roll the dumb luck first. Okay. So on a +1, the truth is not spent. Nope. Unfortunately, you are going to spend this truth.
Okay.
So for those in the audience, Davros has a stunt where twice per session he can try to make an extra bonus roll, and if he rolls well on it, he avoids any expenditure of truth or fate points. So he gets basically a completely free bonus. Did not make that roll. Dumb luck doesn't kick in here. He's going to have to spend the point. Now I will roll your deceive check, and now it is at a +3 total, I believe, right? +1 for deceive,
Correct.
+2 for swashbuckler in chief. Okay, so you got a decent chance. We've had some bad rolls this session. Oh, a -1, but a total of a +2 with your 3, which does just meet the requirement. Barely. Meaning what you're going to have is the aspect in place. I'm going to put an aspect on the scene here.
Hey, Dan, just for info real quick.
Yeah.
Where the steering wheel is located is called the poop deck.
Oh, that is the poop deck? Well, there you go.
That is the poop deck.
That is the poop deck, the much quoted poop deck. So I'm going to put an aspect into play on this scene. Says that's just called "Come on, we've been through worse," even though that is not true. Or just I'll cut it. I'll call it "We've been through worse" so it fits on the sheet here. So we've been through worse. It's an aspect in play. The men are operating at high morale. Now, I don't want to roll for NPCs. I don't like doing that very often, especially a big group of them. So I'm going to go ahead and just give them a +2 on this. We're going to assume they all have a fight of 1. Let's give them a 3. So they're operating at a completely neutral roll. They charge at this thing, and by God, believe it or not, they begin to beat it back. One of them cuts off a tentacle. One of them leaps at one of the toothed maws and stabs it, just stabbing this thing in its maw. And it slowly is sliding around and begins to slip backwards off the ship. So great job.
Do I also put 1 in crucibles for the attunement?
No. So that happens whenever you acquire 10 points in your spent column, you can put a world aspect into play, which is you fundamentally change the actual world around you.
Gotcha. At
that point, you put a point into whatever world it is that you're changing. So no, so that not yet, because that's a big deal. Those points that go into the world, the world attunement, that's a +1 forever for anything relating to that world. So it's a huge buff. So these men are beating this thing back. Verk, you're holding onto this rigging, and you look up and you realize that as the ship is rocking back and forth, as this creature is pulling it side to side, that the worst possible thing is happening. The main mast, you see a very small crack. And as you look at it deeper, you see that very thin crack has risen all the way up farther than you can see now in the dark. The mainmast itself is beginning to splinter. What do you do?
I'm assuming there's just free rope around, right?
There's a lot of rope. Yep.
Can I see about grabbing the rope and wrapping the mast? Trying to prevent it from splintering further?
Sure. So you grab a whole bunch of rope, and you like clamber up it. Like you like wrap it around the base and climb it and wrap it as you climb. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to give you a +1 to this roll for having a whole handful of really thick rigging rope. And what are you going to roll to? What skill are you going to roll to accomplish this? I would say probably athletics.
Athletics.
Yeah. So your athletics is a 3, right? And
Yes.
you have a +1 due to the rope. So we're going to roll at a +4. This should be a pretty good roll. Let's see. Ooh, a +2, total of +6. Wow. So the op for this is you succeed. Is it more than 2? Yes. You don't succeed with style. You would need to have more than 2 points over. So you rolled a 6 against a 4. Now, if you want to burn a fate point, you can succeed with style and go ahead and throw an aspect into play of roughly your choice. It's up to you. Or if you don't, you still succeed. Like, it's done. It's just if you want to really, like, again, succeed with style.
I don't even know what to do for the aspect, so I'm just going to say, just let it be a success.
Okay, that's totally fine. Give me 1 second.
Jury-rigged rigging.
Second. Yeah, you get a boost. Okay. So you're clambering up there and you're tying this thing, and that shouldn't work. These ropes are incredibly thick. Any rope that is strong enough to hold a mast together is not really suitable to. It's heavy enough that you probably can't climb up the mast with it, and would be hard to tie it into any sort of stickable knot. And yet you do it. You just brute force this thing. Like you wrap it around.
350-pound beast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You just absolutely
just hurling it around.
Yeah, and you knock this thing down, and the captain looks up and cheers at you. And the captain, by the way, Captain Rilo, has a smile on her face. Luck is on her side. No matter how this turns out, she knows they're going to make it out okay. And she says, "Men, you serve on the glass domino." And right as she speaks, there's a lightning crack, and then the storm dulls ever so slightly so her voice carries. And luck is on our side. And the men cheer, and at that final boost of morale, they all gather together and they push this beast off. It splashes into the sea, missing. There's like 5 or 6 tentacles on the deck of the ship, kind of writhing around. They then pick it up and throw them overboard. And as the thing falls, the heads all align looking down into the water. And you hear that one note, that mournful, deep bass note, as it splashes into the ground. The men cheer again, seeing the beast having fallen. They cheer at you, Davros, and they cheer at their captain, Rilo. And Verk, you are still like wrapped around this mast, holding it together with just spit and rope. And
I'm completely absorbed in the crowd cheering, thinking it's all for me.
That's totally fair. Yeah, that's completely fair. Actually, it's a great point you make, Bill. I'm gonna offer you a compel here. I'm gonna compel this sheet bigger. Enthralled by the crowd. So I'm going to offer you a truth point here, but enthralled by the crowd, I'm going to you're so enthralled by this that you raise up your right hand in a fist to cheer along with them, and that means you let go of the ropes that you're holding because you can't quite tie them into a knot. It's going to slip, and the mast is going to break. Now you can avoid a compel by paying it. You had to pay me a truth. You don't get anything of it. You just don't get this shitty thing. However, If you accept this shitty circumstance, I will give you a free truth point.
No, I think he understands the direness. He's banging his head against the mast, like resisting the urge to jeer with the crowd.
Okay, so you're going to have to go ahead and spend truth, but it does not go into your spent column. You didn't
Oh, okay.
do anything with it. You just take one out of your refresh. You just simply lose
Gotcha.
one. Okay. So you're able to hold on. Let's go back to Talab and Jonas. Talab, as you see the wound upon his arm, you notice that it is, as you rub the herbs in, it begins to bubble and froth. Jonas, your arm starts to go numb. Also, have you given any thought to your copy of The Tale of St. August currently rolling around on a wet floor?
Yeah, I mean,
Back
I'd
in the
like
cabin.
I'd like to go get it.
Okay. So Jonas, what is your instinct here? What's your action, and Talab, what's yours?
Does this look normal to you?
No. I'd like to roll. If you could roll me a lore. Have I seen anything like this before?
Sure. What's your lore?
2.
Okay, this is also going to be a difficulty of 2. Oh! -4, my friend. You have a -2. You fail completely. You have never seen anything like this before in your entire life.
Nope, that doesn't look good. That's bad. Yeah, you're gonna need a doctor.
Jonas, this doctor looks completely bewildered.
Definitely gonna need a doctor. Yikes.
That's why we keep you around.
Oh well, I mean this is above my skill.
Would it be more treatable if I painted a pretty face around it?
Kind of chuckle, realizing
Maybe.
that like he you might have to actually amputate this arm.
Which arm is this, by the way?
It's his left arm.
Left arm.
What arm would you have been holding the lantern with?
My left. Yeah.
Jonas? All right, so then this is your right arm.
No.
This was the arm that was holding the.
The book?
I said lantern.
Yeah. No.
I asked
Right.
you what.
But you're saying it bit my book hand then?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have main-handed my book. Yeah.
Is this are you right-handed?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's his right arm.
No, I think he's doing that in character.
Yeah. That's come back into the room with me, and I'll take care of that.
We've seen stuff like this before.
Rub some dirt on it. We'll be good.
Have you? Oh, I haven't.
Yeah. There was at Brightholm. No, what was the name of the prison, Dan?
Fairweather 1.
At the manor of Fairweather in the world of oh man, this really it's going, man. It's it's tingly, and then nothing like
Well,
but there was a world, and there was like worms and stuff. I think they bit Verk, and it was something, I don't know, it was something like this maybe, but or maybe Verk was just turning into
That was in the world of worms.
Yeah, I know.
That is what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm referencing. But Talab obviously wasn't there for it, so
right.
so I'm telling him I've seen something like it.
What
which I
did
hope
you do.
I don't know how
in
far
that
Dan wants.
situation?
This is not anything like that. That was not making it explicit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Perhaps I used the wrong herb. I'd be willing to.
You know what?
Try something else.
I'm probably going to be sitting down for a while. I would guess if you could if somebody could go get me my book, I'll read that while you look at this for me. That'd be whew.
Book.
Man, this travels.
Help William, I'll be back. I'll get your book. Is it up on deck?
Why would you be the one leaving? You're the one.
Well, it's
Why
only
don't-
the two of you.
Why don't
and
you?
I need someone to help him
Yeah,
hold his wound in.
Correct. So, I guess
You
I'll
come
go
back
get.
then when you're ready.
Yeah,
I'll be here. I'm polishing my blade.
I'll go get the.
I'm wiping the ooze off of it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, put the blade makes me nervous. Could you? I'll go get. I'll go get the book. I'll go get my book.
Okay, Jonas, you go back to get the book as your arm is now oozing. It stopped bleeding, by the way, so FYI. But it is oozing and frothing, and you still can't feel anything in it. So you walk back to now. It's been a little while, unfortunately. So you walk back and you look and you see that the thing is soaking and the ink is running. You're not sure how much of it you can salvage, but I imagine you pick it up immediately.
Yeah.
So you grab the Tale of St. August, and it doesn't look great. You're pretty sure there's not a lot of readable stuff here. But regardless, you're gonna have to find a dry place to lay this out. And in a storm right now, you're not gonna find one. So you have to wait a little while to find. Sorry, but the time and the circumstances.
I'm gonna put the book in a barrel of rice, Dan.
Yeah, which you guys definitely have on a ship. Rice, commonly carried by swashbucklers.
Why wouldn't we?
You definitely. Well, you know what? You are the part of fate is world building. So you know what? These guys were smuggling. One of the things they were smuggling was rice. I'm okay with it. So you open up. You first of all, with one arm, you probably couldn't pry open a barrel with two arms, because these are no joke. These are sealed, waterproof barrels. So there is one. You can't quite get it open by yourself.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I bring it with me to the tent to explain to somebody that I'd like help getting it into a rice barrel.
Okay. So you go back up. You go above decks, you said?
Yeah, I said tent, but wherever we are with the, I guess, enclosure, a cabin or whatever for the medical stuff.
Yeah. So you go back up, and the storm is still raging. In fact, as you walk above, it kind of calms for a little bit, and then another huge crash and a wave racks the side of the ship. It rocks over. Everyone kind of loses their footing for a second. Everyone grabs the ropes that are nearby to them. Verk, you are still clambered onto this mast, holding it together by yourself. The ship is still sailing straight. The captain still looks confident. And then there is a lightning strike, and it hits the very front of the ship, the very figurehead at the front. And it crashes. The figurehead at the front, by the way, is Lady Luck. She is holding in her right hand out towards the sea a handful of coins. And then behind her back, you see that she has palmed a couple cards in this elegantly carved figurehead. She is now struck by lightning, completely ablaze. The sailors all gasp. Sailors, naturally a superstitious lot, of course. There are few things worse than losing the figurehead of your ship. In fact, I can hardly think of one that is worse. That is worse luck for a ship than the figurehead bursting aflame or being lost. Captain Rylow's smile dips for just a second. What's up, Davros?
I was going to say, can I look and see what Captain Rylow's reaction is to that?
She, for a second, loses her smile. But Captain Rylow's luck's on her side. You guys are going to get through this. She goes, "Men, put out that fire. Lady Luck won't stand to be burned." Does anyone move? The men start clambering and trying to get buckets. Stavros, do you do anything?
I'm going to make my way up to the poop deck and find the navigator and say, "Dear, any luck?"
Funny you should ask. So she is scanning and then looks down at you, almost like she's looking through you, and she gives you a little, like, a scowl, and the fractal compass speaks. "The navigator has searched the grave, but there is a truth here. A truth you haven't seen. Captain Rylow," and the navigator points to Captain, has luck on her side. And then she turns her hand and points down to the deck of the ship. But he put an aspect into play here. Scene. He killed an albatross 3 days ago. So, like I said, there are very few things worse than, in terms of luck than the figurehead bursting into flames. One of those things is killing an albatross. And as she points, it's as if he knows, and he turns his head, and he looks up. It's this shaggy-haired, many-scarred man, a sailor of many years, missing a couple fingers, missing more than a few of his teeth, nose broken too many times to count. And he looks, now that she points at him, you realize he is terrified in a different way than these men. He's not scared of the storm, necessarily. He's not scared of the monsters. He's scared because he knows why this has happened.
I'll walk over to the captain. Captain, do you know that man?
She looks at you and she says, "Why aren't you putting out the fire?" And then she yells at him, "Mr. Eve, put out the fire!" Mr. Eve, spelled Y-V-E-S, the French way. He looks up at her and salutes, and he goes off to douse the fire, looking over his shoulder at you one last time as you're staring at him, and at the navigator who's staring at him.
I'll follow orders and go and help, keeping that in mind and keeping an eye on.
Okay. Another lightning strike. This time on the mast. The very top of the sails burst into flame. Burke, you are now wrapped around a wow. This was not an intentional image, but what is effectively a giant burning cross. This campaign, guys, is about racism in America, actually. This is all a metaphor for that. The ship is the United States.
What ship are we on?
The glass dynamo. Were you not paying attention?
The
glass
USS
domino.
Lightning Rod.
Kind of ship.
Oh, domino.
That's a domino.
Oh, that's. Ugh. All right. Now I want pizza.
So, Verk, the fire is rapidly approaching. What do you do?
At this point, I'm going to let go the second that lightning hits.
Okay, you drop to the ground, and as you drop, the ropes fall, and you hear the crack now of the mast. She looks up and looks at you, and she... "Man, to your feet! The mast! Save the mast!"
Is there any... Eve, right? That's his name?
Mr. Eve, yes.
Mr. Eve. Is there any chance or any situation in which he is walking along the edge of the ship?
Sure. He walks back to grab a bucket and goes to scoop up some of the water that's splashed over the side.
Is anyone paying attention to me?
Why don't you roll me, not that you noticed, but I feel like you're going to want to roll me probably stealth.
Roll a stealth, please.
So you're going to be rolling stealth, I imagine, as to create advantage to do this surreptitiously.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
the important thing I think to realize, right, is Davros is the only one that knows about the secret, right?
And the navigator.
Well, but the navigator's not doing anything about it.
No.
But okay, so
Oh, she would not give a shit.
Even-
she probably is like, yes, I haven't. What's
So-
the problem?
yeah,
The
okay.
navigator is doing more important things right now.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
So let me think about this because I don't want to do. Let's do a complex roll here. So you can roll straight athletics to push him off, and there's a chance that I'll notice you, or you can roll stealth first to see if you nail it. However, if you fail that stealth roll, I will guarantee that I someone sees you. We're going to establish the stealth at a not bad, just a 1, an op 1. But if you fail it, I will definitely see you do it. If you succeed, no one will see you.
Is that the declared action that you're trying to push him off the deck?
No, the declared action
Oh, I'm
now
sorry.
is that I am looking around to see if anyone is looking in our direction as he is going to pick up this bucket near the edge of the ship.
Okay.
Not explicitly, no. But there is a chance that, like, depending how you do this, that someone could see you.
What I'm going to try and do is take him by the ankles, lift and throw him over the side of the ship when he's picking up the bucket.
Mhm.
If no one else can see, I'm hoping, I'm trying to do this inconspicuously so that no one else sees what's
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So you're going to want to roll a stealth then.
right. Correct.
Okay. All right. I will roll a stealth.
If this is successful, can we call this aspect "swear to me"?
Swear to me.
Well, it's not going to be an aspect. He's probably just going to the task here. So -1, you have a +2 to stealth, and I believe I said it was
A 1.
What was the ob?
Right?
It was
1.
1. Okay. No one sees you. It's pretty. Again, like I said, there's a storm raging. It's difficult to see. And go ahead and roll me. I will roll you athletics. This is an ob. God, well, we're going to do an opposed roll. All right. So you're going to roll me athletics at a +3. He's going to roll physique at a +2. Passive resistance, just like not to be heavy enough that this won't work. So here's your roll. -1 +3, so a total of 2. And here's his physique, as I mentioned before, all the 2 in physique, so he's going to try to beat your roll of what was it total again? I'm sorry, was it +2?
Yes, because my athletics is there.
He's going to try to beat your +2, your total of 2. He's got a +2 to this roll. Oh, terrible! He does not make it. You grab him by the ankles. Before anyone can see, he shouts, "Wah!" But the shout is lost in the storm, tipped over the edge. As this guy was going to be like a whole thing, but I forgot because I was so used to you guys turning so quickly from criminals into like normal adventurers last campaign. I'm actually surprised and glad to see you just be like, I'm gonna fucking murder this dude. No.
Well, wait. Isn't he holding him by his ankles or no?
No, he flipped him over.
I assumed you flipped him over to like he's in the water, right?
I flipped him over, so he's gone.
Yeah.
He's off the ship. His
Straight
bad luck
murder.
is no longer going to be
Gone but not forgotten.
mixing with our good luck.
No, these are the kind of plays I want. Like, make plays, guys. So yeah, this dude's gone. He shouts once, it's lost to the storm, and he is overboard. You look back, and the navigator is smiling at you.
I'm immediately going to go help with the map.
With the mast.
Yep. I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened. I'm helping with the map.
Yeah. The mast is cracking, and it seems like it's about to reach that tipping point, at which point the sheer force of gravity is going to tip it over, and the ship starts to right itself, and the rain redoubles in strength, putting out the fire on the mast.
Now I'll look up at the navigator.
She's smiling, and she continues scanning the horizon, looking for routes out of this place, or for truths. So one of the things that the navigator can do for you, both mechanically on these character sheets and in the world, is through her access to the fractal compass, she can navigate worlds. She can also try to discern truths of this one. She can reveal hidden aspects. For right now, it's going to be completely random, or you're going to have to expose certain triggers, but as we go on, you're going to learn how to manipulate that and see if you can spend points and do actions to reveal. Once you know something is hidden, you can ask her to attempt to reveal it.
So now that the mast is not on fire anymore,
Uh-huh.
can I grab more rope enough
Yeah.
such that I can actually tie it down?
Yeah. You're able to grab more rope. I'm going to keep your roll going. We don't need to do it again. We already know you can do it. You got a 6 last time. You get up there and you begin to wrap that in place. The figurehead is now put out. And over the next, half hour, 45 minutes, slowly but surely, the storm begins to fade. The men not just rally their spirit, but they begin to operate at a peculiar efficiency. They're able to assist you. The men come over and assist you, Vert. They hand you more ropes. They hold them in place while you tie them down. They begin to patch up holes. They begin to clear the deck of all the ooze that would cause them to slip and fall. And Captain Rylo's orders ring out loud and clear through the storm. Now, this is a world of crucibles, crucible of flesh and spirit. This day, the men's flesh and their spirit has been tested, and they've come out on top, thanks only to the actions of you guys. Mostly Verk and Davros. Jonas and Talab really didn't do a whole lot down there in terms of greater morale of the men. So, Verk and Davros, you guys are I'm going to put an aspect into play here on the world, which is the glass domino. What should we call this aspect? So this aspect is going to reflect the fact that this crew has those left alive are stronger for this experience. What should we call this?
Weathered the storm.
Weathered the storm. Or hold on, let's do a little callback here. We have seen worse. Back to
yeah.
Davos said that they had, and they hadn't at the time, and now they can say, yeah, you know what, we've seen worse than this. So as you can see on the right side of the aspect sheet, there's these little pink zeros. I'm going to put a 2 here. So these are free invokes. Just by calling on that aspect without burning a truth, you just get a +2. Now, there's only 2 of them that's shared amongst the whole party. So maybe communicate before you burn one that someone else might want to use. But 2 free invokes on that. Great job. And I'm going to tick off the scene aspect. He killed an albatross 3 days ago. Back to Talab and Jonas. Jonas, as you're, you notice that, Jonas, do you return back to Talab after gathering after oh no, you're trying to open up this barrel.
Dan, are you updating the right sheet?
No, I'm not. Nope. I am now. At least it should. I don't know how much of a delay. There we go. We have.
There's a little bit of a delay. Yeah.
And then I removed the albatross.
And you want to put two charges in that one, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Do I need to take Dan's permissions away from editing those two?
Yeah, maybe. So I might designate someone else to do the one person to do the rolling and one person to do the aspect updating, so that I'm not doing two as I'm trying to like also create. I can allocate that to you guys going forward, not right now. So anyway, Jonas, last checked, you were trying to open up a barrel to put this thing in, but there's no one available to help you. But as the storm clears, we're going to come to, after about half an hour of hard work, the ship exits the storm and the first ray of sunlight comes out. Jonas, what are you doing?
I think a half an hour later, I have single-handedly moved the barrel of rice all the way up the hold stairs.
Verk, you see that Jonas is...
And I am now rolling it towards people I recognize.
Trying to roll a barrel of rice towards him. Stuffed out the top of his shirt is a pile of wet rags. He is holding his left arm or right arm kind of numbly, and he is kind of using it like a blunt instrument to kind of, he's like nudging it against the barrel to push it towards you. Using his left hand to kind of guide it.
Do you need me to patch up that gash in your arm there?
Jonas.
I seem to remember having to stop some bleeding. That you're screaming like a little girl.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hold on.
Oh,
He's not
did you need
leading
me
on
to do
this
something?
barrel.
Okay.
Did you need me to do something with the barrel first?
You don't touch anything. Don't. I need you to. Could you get the barrel upright? Could you flip it for me? And then, for the love of
Sure.
God, shh, just shh, and then open it up, and I need to place this book into this rice to help dry out some of these pages. Okay, you understand? We almost the absolute.
You're looking a little pale there.
The the fight of our lives we almost lost. All right, I need to figure out what's in the pages of
You're
this book.
referring to the book,
Yes.
right? Not the battle above here.
Yes,
The terrifying ooze monster
We-
and the ship on fire. And okay,
we,
yeah,
we need to
right,
figure
of
out
course.
what's in this. What's locked to.
Verk, do you
what's-
open up this
I'm
barrel?
just gonna punch through the lid, pull it
don't,
off.
don't have to roll anything. You pull the thing off. You dunk the book in there.
now, question: have any of you ever seen a Rocky montage where he puts his hand in a big bucket of rice, or a boxer that puts their hand in rice and moves it around for resistance on the wrist and the fingers, right?
Yeah.
So it's incredibly difficult.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
He
so
just
here
takes
I
a
am
bucket
with
and
my
just-
with my not great left arm, my non-dominant left arm, and I'm trying to push the book directly into a barrel full of sand of rice that has
Of rice.
no room in the in the structure in between each and every grain. And I'm just like tapping it up against the top layer of rice because it's not moving.
Limply flopping
Yeah.
the. You're kind of just slapping the barrel.
Can
This sex.
Ver, can you get this into the rice itself?
Just takes it and just pushes it kind of like an angle.
Yeah.
Just slides it under.
Davros is leaning against the railing, watching this very bemused.
Yeah. Talab. I'm assuming you now that Jonas is out here fucking around. Have you returned your attention to young William?
I would say I think that William is bandaged. I mean, there's not much else I can do for him. He just kind of
Okay.
has to stay down here.
Okay.
And,
Well, as you're about to maybe see what else needs your attention, you realize that there's some sticky green substance on your hands.
oh,
You look and realize that it's coming from his wound. The very same green frothy substance that was on the bite of Jonas's arm. Because this guy's arm.
What the hell's going on? Hey guys, the Discord is not Whoa, the whole Discord server just like died. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Oh wait. Discord server.
is that better?
There we go. Okay.
Okay,
So
you guys hear me now?
yeah, there we go. So can we go back to
I lost. Is Dan on the not on
I'm
the
back.
call?
Dan's back. Yeah. So can
We
we
lost his video.
We lost you on Skype though, buddy.
I didn't do anything with Skype.
We didn't say you did, but you're not in
No,
the
I know.
call.
I'm just saying that that's bizarre. I signed out of Discord and all of a sudden Skype. Okay, let's try this.
So yep, there you go.
That's better.
There you go.
Cool. Very bizarre.
It hasn't freaked out yet. Okay.
Okay.
Was there something you were saying?
All right, so the last thing I heard was the
Ah.
green ooze was similar to what Jonas had.
Yes, the very same.
This is coming out of the wound. You were saying,
Yes.
or coming out
Yes.
of the wound? Okay.
Like he has. This was not just a surface level thing. He has been infected by something.
I undress it, and I want to give him something to bite down on, and be like, William, this is, I'm gonna need to take a look deeper into this. This is gonna hurt.
There's plenty of splinters of wood around and bundles of cloth. There's plenty of things to give him to bite down on.
So, I don't know what I guess maybe notice. I just want to kind of do some exploring and see if I could clean the ooze away that's there and see if there's something that's coming from in him or
Sure.
what. Like,
Sure.
does that sound right?
Yeah, I'll roll you notice.
Okay, that's a 1 for me.
I am not seeing it change. Let me see.
My fault. Try again.
Okay. All right, that's a total of 2. You're able to kind of just poke around in there. He's fighting to scream against this, and you see that there are this ooze has infected. You see the some of the ligaments and the veins have begun to turn this pale green. It's working its way into his system.
Is it something that I could potentially cut out the infected area?
It's been a little too long, unfortunately. It looks like you can't see the end of it. It's into his chest now. Almost certainly.
William.
And the problem being, it started much closer to him, right? Because it was the stump of his arm. For Jonas, it is the forearm at least.
Right.
So
I want to... Would it be possible to knock him out somehow?
That's a loaded question, Ted.
yeah.
Like, there's obviously no anesthesia in this world. I'm going to give him a bottle of rum.
Yeah, sure. There's I'm assuming morphine and opium, stuff like that. There's the laudanum or whatever. You probably have a tincture that's like alcohol and that, which will just knock you the fuck out. Completely reasonable to have.
Take this
on store as a ship. You like pour it into his mouth. He kind of shakingly holds his hand up to yours to drink it, and he gulps it down, and his eyes kind of roll in the back of his head, and he's not like actually out cold, but he's pretty well out.
I want to run to get Jonas and bring him back.
You run up top to the deck, and you see Jonas is leaning against this barrel, panting, describing how bad it would be if you lost this text, while Verk is like hammering the lid back on the thing of rice. Is that fair to say, Jonas, you're just babbling now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It seems like him.
I get above deck, and I'm like, what a beautiful day for such terrible things to happen. But I run over to Jonas. Hey, I'm commenting. I've been down below deck this whole time.
Yeah, it's true. That's a good quote.
Jonas, I need you to come with me right now. It's about your wound.
I know,
problem.
the book is almost ruined. All right?
Right. I don't care about whatever book this is, but your arm might not be the only thing that I have to amputate.
What? Why would I go with you?
Look, I don't want to. I'm just saying, come with me, and maybe I can help you without doing that. You can find a way. I grab him. I want to drag him down.
I feel nothing. He grabs the numb arm.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you want to do a roll-off for this, you're welcome to. I imagine if you don't, it is probably trivial to drag Jonas below deck, unless, Jonas, you want to resist.
No, I don't think, especially with having spent a lot of energy trying to get the barrel up on deck, I'll just go where he leads me at this point.
Okay. By the way, since the scene is done, your physical stress is removed. Just like vigor, it comes back at the end. You still have, of course, your consequence, the many-toothed bite, as we are exploring. So Talab, you take him down to the room. What do you do?
I want to show him first. I want to show him William. This man lost his arm to a similar wound.
You see that. Sorry, you see the green ooze pouring out of his arm, and you see that this man's eyes are rolled back into his head.
He's not dead. He's just out. But I'm trying to figure out what to do for him. But in the meantime, I don't want your progress.
Oh, did you rub those herbs on his wound?
I did not.
Oh, we'll say then two different things.
So I'm thinking it had no effect.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, wait, what?
Thinking the herbs had no effect on yours.
Why?
I'd like to try something else. I don't know. It just nothing has changed in his wound, right?
No. It's still frothing, and he can't feel it, and it still looks very bad.
What I'd like to do is to have him lay down on a different cot, and I reach in my back pocket and I pull out, and I have a handful of deep orange sand. This is the blessed sand of my homeland. Take a deep breath, Jonas. And I want to rub it into his wound. And I want to roll a magic.
Okay.
It should at the very least kind of soak up the ooze.
So your objective here is to stop the spread of the ooze.
Yes, correct. And I want to do it on this wound, which is much fresher, to see if it actually works before I really try to shove a lot of this stuff into poor William.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna.
So this is my stunt. So it's a +1 to magic, which puts me at a 4, and it would also cure his physical consequence.
That's fair. And on success, you're gonna have to give him a truth.
Yes, correct.
So now, to clarify, you don't have to use stunts. You're opting to use it.
I'm opting to use this stunt here.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's a great roll. It's a +4, and you need a 2 to get rid of this 2-point consequence. Wow, barely. You need all 4 of those points, but you do make it.
Okay, good.
Great. So Jonas, I'm going to remove that consequence, many-toothed bite, and I'm going to go ahead and give you truth, and I'm going to take one off of you, or you can do it yourself. It's fine. And now that does go into your spent column. Yes, you did spend it. Like spending is any time that you like voluntarily use a truth to do something.
Got it.
Something has to happen as a result. So the bite, he just rubs like what looks to you like fucking sand on your wound, and you realize very shortly that it starts to hurt, which is actually a big improvement from not feeling anything at all. And the wound looks like it starts to change color to this more, pinkish reddish, no longer green and frothing, and it looks as if he's healed you. I'm going to give you the aspect.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give you the aspect. He seems healed.
Jonas, how do you feel?
Are you on the right sheet again?
Aspects in play.
Not popping
Do I have
up.
to hit enter? I'm sorry.
Yes.
There you go. I have to mouse off the cell.
Yeah. Wow. Ow. That ooh. It stings. It's like a burning sensation. Like, if you get too close to like an open flame or oh, okay. Yeah. I'm feeling it. But feeling it, I think, is better. Is because I wasn't feeling it a second ago. So
you've been touched by the blessed sands, my son.
I'm sorry. What?
My friend. I'm sorry.
I was touched by what?
Blessed sands.
The blessed sands. Dan, would I roll I guess a lore to see if I know anything about that or have heard about it.
Yeah, sure. Roll me a lore. It's gonna be a tough one though, because this is something unique to his world, and this is like the 80th world you've been to. So,
It's
but you
unique
know
to
what? There are
it,
similarities. So maybe there's busted sands on a different world that you happen to have heard of.
well,
So.
would that be grave-wise then, or is that still lore?
Ooh, that would be. It's your call. It's your call, Avenue. How do you want to approach this problem? It's like D&D, like I think good role playing. You can't just like go through your skills one by one. So you pick whatever one you think you might have the best chance at.
Yeah, I want to compare it to the stuff that we've seen in other worlds and try to remember if I've heard of or encountered something similar.
Okay, sure.
That would be
Yeah.
different in this world just by a slight bit, because of the different aspects and stuff. So I'm gonna go grave-wise.
Okay, so that's a +3.
It is.
I'm gonna give you an ob 3 for this one. It's a tough one, and you make it. You rolled a mediocre, and you have a +3. So actually, you have. You're befuddled because this doesn't ring a bell. But then, as you say it out loud, you realize you had read something about that in one of your texts you gathered from one of the worlds. It is another myth, something that shouldn't exist. There's never been any proof of magic sands. You never met a practitioner of this. It's one of those things that's like, I don't know, El Dorado. It's something that is a fantastical, mystical place that you're certain isn't real. And you've certainly never met a man from wherever this land of the Blessed Sands might be.
So, before I ask where the Blessed Sands come from, why don't you help William?
I agree. I would like to, what I'd like to think happens actually is that this wound that he has, sand on it, kind of hasn't sealed up completely, but the ooze has stopped, and the sand is now kind of like hardened.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pull it off, and it's sort of solidified almost. And I crush it back down into powder. There's no ooze in it. It's just the same sand.
Yeah.
And I rub that into William's wound now.
You're able to do that. Jonas, that hurts like a son of a bitch. As he pulls a bunch of hair and dried blood and this ooze off of your now mostly healed arm.
Would Talab have prepared Jonas for such a?
It doesn't sound like he did. It sounds like he just did it. So he just pulled it off.
Don't overthink it.
Yep, that's one of his aspects. So it hurts. It's excruciating as he rips this hardened sand off.
But it looks like a regular wound now.
It does.
I would argue. Yeah.
It does.
So, I'm attending to William, and I go, "You're going to need to wrap that." I would wrap that definitely. I kind of turn away and I focus on doing a similar thing with him. Rub the sand into the wound, and I just actually kind of lean over him and I just start praying.
So you return to William, and he does not seem to notice when you rub the sand in. You can hear a rattling in his chest. His skin is a pale green, and he is murmuring. He's muttering something. It's a prayer to his god.
We're gonna have an aliens thing going on.
We're gonna have something. And by the way, when you were above deck, you noticed that there was 4 or 5 crew members that also had, you couldn't tell what happened, but had appendages or parts of their body wrapped in bandages. So presumably bit as well.
Oh! William. I don't know what's happened here. Never seen this before.
No, not at all. Verk, above decks, The captain hands off the wheel to one of her mates, and she looks down and she holds out her hand to you. Do you take it?
Sure.
She shakes it and says, looks in you in the eyes with astonishment, looks back up at the mast, and says, I've never seen a feat like that. Not on sailor, not any kind of man. She's kind of looking at it, kind of taps the mast in disbelief. Won't hold for long, though. We'll need to make repairs. I think we'll need a new mast. She looks off into the distance. Mr. Eve. Mr. Eve, plot it. Where is that scoundrel? She kind of looks and walks up and down the deck.
I thought I saw him walk that way.
She looks back. You're their man, Mr. Eve. And they kind of look and they shrug their shoulders. Captain, I didn't see he was there when we were fighting the monster, and he was helping us put out the fire after the no, actually she lowers her voice and says, the beast? And they say, no, Captain, he was helping us put out the fire. He must have been here. She looks all around. Davros, what are you doing?
Funny you should ask that. Jonas actually put the book in the creative, right?
Well, Verk did, but yes.
Okay. By my experience, would it be easy for someone like me to open up?
It's already been pried open. Like, it's already been, Verk,
Okay.
as he said, ripped open the top. So, like, it's not that well sealed.
I would like to go over to the crate once the captain takes Verk's attention away, open it up, pull out the book, close the crate, and then take the crate down back to the storage
Okay.
and tuck the book in my belongings.
Okay. Jonas, how do you want to do this? Want to do notice versus stealth? Seems the easiest.
Sure.
How does that sound to you, Frats?
A notice versus a stealth?
Yeah.
You're looking to see if you catch him doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so also,
Fine.
there's something else about fate that I like. You don't have to ever roll. If everyone's okay with a certain outcome, you don't need to roll. So if everyone's okay with him taking this, including you, Frats, you don't have to roll shit. But you are welcome to.
Could I pitch rapport?
For what?
Knowing Davros's character having swiped the compass from me.
It's not wrong.
Could I
Yeah.
pitch burglary? Seeing as it's something that I'm stealing,
That's
to put my
Bur-
plus 4
burglar-
against his
bur-
plus 4.
To burgle is to do it
And
when
to-
nobody is around.
No, I think it's
Not
fair.
necessarily.
I think it's fair. I think burglary versus rapport is a fair.
I could see
Fair
burglar
pitch.
being like a
And-
sleight of hand.
And for all he knows, the book is still in the crate, and I'm just rolling it back down to the
It's true.
storage.
Rules as written, by the way, is if no one is interested in the action failing, you don't have to roll for it. Are you interested in what happens if this fails? Like, which is to say, if you succeed in seeing him / stopping him, Jonas.
I'm confused about the roll off and failing. What you're suggesting?
Do you care if I roll this crate down and Jonas does not see him put the crate back with all the other barrel, I should say?
Like, are we as a party interested in Davros not doing this thing, at him failing at doing this thing?
I feel like that's loaded. I have already expressed that I'd like to roll against him doing it.
Absolutely. I'm just saying this was one of those times that I remembered that rule of fate. That's how this is the thing we have on our tool belt, as it were.
No, I gotcha. But
I personally am biased. I want him to succeed, so I'm probably going to try to fuck you up here. But I'm just saying that's a thing the party can always say, like, you know what? We're actually totally cool with just you letting this thing happen. We don't want to roll for it. Like, let's all agree that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to roll rapport against burglary. And
would my vault breaker go into play on this to overcome? I guess it's. Would this technically be passive opposition because he's just
no? It is
into
explicitly not. This is active opposition.
Okay.
This is a scenario where that stunt explicitly does not work. I would like him to succeed at this, Jonas. I'm going to compel you. I'm going to compel. He seems healed. There is a fit of coughing that comes upon you, and you double over and cough up some green, thick muck from your lungs. As to whether that, if you accept the compel, you get a truth, and if you do not want this to happen, you have to give me one. You do have 4.
I'll spend it. I will avoid the compel.
Okay. All right. Let's roll off. I'm going to roll. This is going to be Jonas's roll. Total of a +2. This is going to be Davros's roll. Total of a +4. Not enough to succeed with style. But you do thoroughly succeed. Davros, you take the book, you pocket it, and you roll the barrel down there, and Jonas, unfortunately, my friend, you are none the wiser. Davros, what's your objection here? You're gonna study that text later?
I kind of want the character moment to come later.
Okay,
So
okay.
For right now, I just want to hold on.
Okay, sure. Jonas, you think it is drying in rice.
I will say, do I have any? Is there any kind of like a? The only other way I can think of it is like kindling or like wood chips or anything else that is dry that could be used as an absorbing agent.
There's a bunch of cloth you could try to wrap it in, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd like to do that just to try and soak up as much of the water as possible that it wouldn't be that it's not getting the benefit from it.
Yeah, you can just take it below decks and just start grabbing cloth and patting it each page by page dry. That's totally reasonable.
Sure.
Above deck, no one, by the way, answers the captain does not find out what happens to Mr. Eve, but she looks and she scowls and says, "This has a foul smell to it." She looks at all the men, eyeing them up as if there was some treachery done. She feels it. She goes back to the poop deck, and she says, "Men, we're to make emergency port to the forest, the beleaguered forest." And the men kind of, some of them chuckle, some of them shudder. She says, aye, but it's the closest one, and we're in need of a mast. One more storm like that, and she points up at the mast, and our luck might not hold. She tips her hat towards the figurehead. She goes on to you. Vark, is it?
Yeah.
As able-bodied a man as I've ever seen. You'll lead the expedition to the forest. Find a mast and bring it back. Or find a trunk and bring it back so it may be fashioned into a new mast.
Okay.
All right.
Find a big ass tree. I can do that.
Find a big ass tree. The night passes, and the next day, and the ship turns in its course, and you start to see in the distance, rising through a light fog, a beach. Behind it, a thick grove of trees. It's been a day and a night. Let's briefly cover what happens. So Talab, down in the hold of the ship, this man is murmuring more and more frantically, and his fever begins to rise, and then suddenly his temperature plummets, and he is now ice cold to the touch. We'll say five more men over the course of the night come down with fits of coughing and are brought down to the hold, and your small room here is now full of dying men. Some of them you're able to use the sand on, the ones that you had caught like in time, and the symptoms sort of stop, but they are still shivering. And now, Jonas, you're experiencing the same symptoms. You kind of feel like you just have a very bad cold, right? So you can operate, not a huge penalty to anything right now, but you feel chilly and achy, and every so often you cough up this phlegm that doesn't quite feel like normal phlegm. But so we're going to say that's 2 of the men and Jonas. 3 of the men and William, so 4 total, are in more dire straits. You did not get to them in time. Their wounds were much more severe, or that they much more advanced.
I am. Oh, were you gonna
No,
go on?
go.
Sorry.
Go.
I was just gonna say, I am praying over William's body, who I'm now thinking lost, for some kind of insight, some kind of a solution. Going over all the different kinds of salves and herbs and poultices and all things that I have. Trying different things, literally. Like, I'm frantically working on him because he's the most far gone, I think, right?
Right, yes.
Seeing if there's anything that has taking any effect. What can I roll a will? See if
Not really. It's more of a it's more of a
yeah.
defensive strength of will, almost like a will save type thing. I don't
Okay.
know that would really.
What is there anything that I can
I don't know.
roll in this situation, or can you?
Well,
give me,
you already tried lore and you didn't know anything about it. You've tried magic and it worked somewhat if they weren't far enough along. And I don't think you have anything else. I think this is unfortunately something that there's a knowledge that he hasn't already learned. Like, he can't solve this without additional help.
I then, after some time, I just come to the conclusion that this is he's done.
Yeah.
At least. But I want to go to the captain. And basically tell her I'm doing everything I can for these men, but I don't know what the root cause of this is. This ooze, I can't seem to root it out of.
Is this
them.
Jonas puts his hand on Talab's shoulder and says, is this terminal for these guys? For these guys, sorry.
For William, but I don't know for all of you. I just simply don't know how to cure this.
But it's beyond your healing touch, you're saying?
Seems to be beyond my capability.
And how many times have you healed a disease that you knew nothing about?
A disease? Some. I've been to many foreign lands. I've seen many different diseases.
No, but I mean, what? For something that you're not familiar with, how many times have you had something that was absolutely maddeningly unknown to you, and you pulled somebody from the grips of whatever this is? Have you done it? Is it possible?
I don't know. Have you encountered something so frustratingly, maddeningly, you don't know anything how to do?
I start to usher Talab towards the stairs, because Talab was interested in going to talk to the captain, right?
Yes.
All right, why don't you take a couple minutes away and clear your head, because this is obviously it's got to be frustrating, and I'll get these guys, like a drink of water, and I'll make sure that they're comfy, and I'll keep an eye on them.
Here. Oh no. Okay. Talab, do you listen to him?
I'm gonna go ahead and trust him.
Okay, he seems like a trustworthy dude.
Yeah.
So you go up to the captain. We'll have that conversation in a second. Jonas, you what are you gonna do here, buddy?
I prepare some poison.
Okay. Yep.
I
mean,
lean
Kool-Aid, right?
I lean into to William, and I put my hand, like I feel like, maybe I take his hand and put it across his chest, or maybe both are across his chest or whatever. But I lean into his chest, and I'm like, what you need to be praying for is mercy, and who you need to be praying for is me.
Wow. Wow.
And
Great line.
I say that to all four of them, and I deliver a poisonous beverage to them as a last rite, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And now, can you justify to me how you know how to make poison, Jonas? Is this something that you maybe you want to roll for this, or?
I mean,
No, you. Yeah,
it's just in my.
You don't roll for this. you have the poison. I have a quick question. What is this? Any particular poison?
It's
Poison of the 72.
It's the
nature?
poison I would have used that I brewed properly so that they died painlessly and in a merciful state. Because if we remember, we retconned my original memory
Correct.
to the poison that I brewed and made terrible. So I'm channeling that thought and going, oh my god, I'm not going to do that again to somebody.
Right.
Dan.
I mean, you didn't do it the first time. It's because of
right. It's because somebody stole it's because somebody stole the Infinity Stone. So
right.
So I'm going to channel the original recipe that I understood from the available pantry, if you will,
from the gypsy pamphlet.
Yes, correct.
Right. Yeah. So you deliver it to these men, and they pass on quietly. Just the four that are like far gone, not the ones that seem to be more stable, like you.
Correct. I would even say it would be an interesting little snag that they reach out for the drink, thinking that it's in some way, shape, or form a medicine or a calming agent or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, no. You are. These men needed extra comfort that is only available to them through this mixture, and you guys seem to be on the mend without it.
Yeah. Up top, Talab. As the ship now approaches within range and they begin to drop the anchor, Captain Ryla looks at you and says, "How are my men?"
So, I know that you brought me on so kindly, Captain.
Is Ted putting out for anybody else?
No, he's pausing.
Am I?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I know you brought me on here for my ability, but there's something going on. Some illness I've never seen before. It's afflicting many of your men. Some of them are too far gone, I believe. So we need more. We need something. We need to go somewhere. They're dying.
You need a cure, but you don't know what it is.
I've done everything I have at my disposal, and nothing seems to be having much effect. The men who were not badly wounded seem to be able to have been making progress, but There are some who are not.
This beast, Talab,
Beast,
the beast.
the ooze, oozes.
Did you get a good look at it?
I don't know unless you refer to the oozes. I was below deck, not see any beast.
That's what I mean. The many-headed beast, the beast which spawned these
Oh,
smaller ones.
yes. Seemed to be a green ooze with teeth. Never seen anything like this before, though.
She opens her mouth and closes it. Her next question was going to be if you'd seen it before.
No.
Nor have I. Nor heard tales of its like. This has been a strange voyage, Doctor. And I am beginning to distrust it.
As am I.
I am beginning to think we have an albatross aboard. Davros, I'm going to toss you a bone and say that you overhear this.
Okay.
She has assembled a landing party. Verk, how many men are you going to take with you onto your expedition? / do you press gang the party to come with you upon this land expedition? And Talab, you don't know what you need, but there's a chance if what you need isn't aboard this ship. Does a land expedition interest you? Perhaps a search for a strange new herb or a plant that might provide some comfort to these men.
That would, once I go back to the
I think you would check the hold first,
so
right?
to speak.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have that scene in a second because that's gonna.
That would be the next logical.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Verk, who are you taking with you on this journey? Who do you want to take with you?
Well, of course, I'll ask around whoever wants to go. Probably avoiding Jonas because I don't think he's gonna be in any condition to voyage out. Almost dying and all, you know.
That's right. That's right. How many men total do you want with you?
How tall is this mast?
It's a fantastic question. I don't know shit about this. 3-masted.
Let's see here.
Schooner? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I'd estimate probably about 40 to 50 feet.
Yeah, I would say you'd probably want 15, 20 men to drag drag it. That'd be the best.
Build an elaborate pulley.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll see if anyone's smart enough to come up with an idea to.
A crew of 59 had a mast height of 188 feet.
Okay.
A crew of 102 had a mast of 115. So 188 seems pretty extravagant, but definitely it seems like over 100 feet. It seems to be pretty consistent.
I'm trying to see how much it might. Well, this is fate. Why am I even doing this? We have as many men as the story demands. So you take a contingent. Let's say you take 10 men in addition to the party. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because me as a person knows how to move something heavy like that. I just don't know. I doubt Verk would have that kind of knowledge.
I think the men do. They're experienced sailors. I think they know that they're probably to do something like this before. So he can lead in the construction and do some of the heavy lifting, but they'll know how to get it.
Yeah, because you can put smaller logs underneath it and just roll the bench.
That's completely reasonable that these men would know how to do that. That's
fine. Okay, cool.
And Verk isn't like stupid. He's just not book smart. He could totally figure something like that out. I think that's completely reasonable. Even if it wasn't shown to him. Talab, you go below decks. You see that. Jonas, are you still in that room?
I am hanging over the gentleman, the expired sailors, and bowing my head in prayer.
You inspect these men, Talab, and unfortunately, the 4 that were the worst off have passed.
I don't say anything. I clutch the sort of talisman that I have, Rashida's token that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and I just go over each of them and I say like a silent prayer, and wish that they find love in their beyond life in the afterlife.
Uh-huh.
Go over to Jonas and look at his wound. Just dress it.
I
Does it
know.
look like a
Nope.
normal wound now, or
Nope, I pull away.
why?
I put my good arm into his chest and grab the scruff of the shoulder area, and I'm like, you need to tell me what was in those herbs.
Or the
Yeah.
sand?
No, he gave those guys the herbs, didn't he?
No. I only put the herb, crushed the herbs and put them into your wound. That was the first thing I tried.
But you're trying to
Okay.
pin the deaths
Well-
on him.
Well, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cured. It's mostly cured you, right?
But what he's saying is that the herbs that didn't work, he was hoping or assuming you had given those to those guys, so then he could say, those herbs, they killed them. But no, he didn't put herbs on them, so.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, I'm not trying
So-
to put any other crazy shit on you. I just want to dress. That's all. It just looks like it's open now. I would think.
Well, the last time you dressed somebody, they died.
Jeez.
No, you were the last person I dressed.
No, these guys were on the deck laying there.
I used the sand on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why it
Yeah.
worked for me and didn't work for them.
I'm assuming it was because you weren't as far gone as them,
Yeah, well, that
but I don't know. This is an alien affliction. To
I-
me, but
I-
I'm trying
in-
my best, Jonas.
in frustration, I knock over the goblet that I had used to give everybody the, and it spills the poisonous liquid on the
What-
ground.
What is
Wow,
it?
you're just gonna self-compel here.
What was that?
What was what?
Was in a goblet?
That was the water I gave them. They were thirsty. You told me to look after them, and I said I would make sure that they were comfortable.
I want to sort of touch the liquid and just smell it.
It does not smell like water. You can roll me lore. Or I can roll you lore.
Let's do it. Inter-party conflict.
Inter-party conflict! It's the best.
That's the Uchigat.
French
you
like
got
steal
that?
my damn book. I'll show you.
That is a 2. Yeah, you know this. You don't know the exact. You take a little dab that on your tongue. This is poison.
So you took it upon yourself to see them to the beyond. I thought that this disease killed them.
I'm sorry. What?
This is poison. Did you give them this poison?
I gave them what was in the goblet.
You gave them poison. Is
I-
that true or no? I mean,
I-
look, they're dead. It's done. It can't be undone. Just
I
just-
don't know who's in charge of the water supply. Where did that goblet come from? I mean,
wasn't here when I left.
yeah, I just got it off of that shelf over there. I mean,
All right. If you want to dress your own wound, go for it. Help.
what was that last bit, Ted?
I just want to help.
Do you leave the room?
I know. I take leave. He may actually want to stay. I immediately think I need to look for my book, but that's however you want to play that out.
At this point, Verk, are you and your guys ready to leave to go to shore?
Yes. Did I see any 100-foot plus tall trees out there, or like
I
any
mean,
trees that towered above the rest?
Sure. Yeah, it's a huge forest. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's many trees over there. Many to pick. You're gonna have to pick the one that looks like the sturdiest, the right width, whatever.
Gotcha.
However it is, one does these things. Davros, are you going with him on this journey?
I want to check in with the navigator before I make that decision, and get a gauge of anything yet.
Anything what?
Anything yet?
She was sitting down, looking out the back of the ship at the ocean from whence you came. Perhaps maybe some clouds in the very far distance. And she turns back to you, and you've kind of gotten used to the fractal compass speaking for her. Like her facial expressions match what is being said, but it's the thing speaking. And it says, the navigator has not found a route she feels is, and it pauses, searching for the word, adequate. The navigator is curious as to the state of your health.
My health.
Yes.
Well, dear, I feel right as rain.
And the others?
I can't speak for them. Verk seems to be doing his typical strongman act. Jonas seems to be playing it up as you.
The navigator has seen a cruel pattern playing upon the sails. The navigator, so this thing is not one for poetry, this device, and it's trying to interpret what are, it seems to be some very confused and confusing threads of thought from this girl. The navigator is afraid. She looks out at the forest. The navigator says the forest hides something. It hides many truths. And she looks down. But this ship is not to be our home forever.
Yeah, I understand that. And I mean, if you're talking about the thing that happened during the storm, well, I mean, that had to be.
The navigator smiles at you. She's totally cool with it. That's, yep, that had to happen.
Would you like to come on this journey? We're about to head out into the forest.
She shakes her head. The navigator feels it would be best if she stays here. If you are tracked, if the king finds us, the navigator would be ready. The navigator has one more thing. She says there may perhaps be an albatross. The navigator fears the albatross is us.
That very well could be. All the more reason for us to get where we're.
Navigator shrugs her shoulders. The navigator wishes you luck.
Thank you, dear. And I'll head off with.
Jonas, as you leave the room, you hear Verk gathering up these men for the expedition. Do you do anything? Do you want to follow him? Do you stay on the boat?
Well, I think I would have, as I would have left the hold or the place that he was triaging the men, I would be looking for the last place that I left the rice barrel. Right?
Uh-huh.
And so wherever I left it last, it's not there.
Correct.
So I guess I would approach Verk if he's the next closest person and be like, hey, did you take that barrel back down to the stores?
Who was after I shoved the book back in the rice? What happened to the barrel? Like, what did I see it do? Was it Jonas?
You didn't see anything. You went off to do something, and because Davros made his roll, so no one noticed him.
Okay, so
take it.
the last I had seen it, it was just left up on deck. That's what. Like, I just want to make sure that like I've got my.
that's
okay.
accurate. Yeah.
So just I tell him like, last time I saw it was sitting right there.
Right there, and I point to the empty place.
Yeah. Did you move it?
Right there where I left it, and you were the last one to touch it. That's where. If I was looking for it, that's where I would find it. Is what you're saying?
Well, the last thing I did with it was I shut the lid.
So what you're telling me is, I just want to make sure I understand. Because Verk, we go back and forth sometimes. Something's lost in translation here and there. But you put the book in the rice for me, like I asked you to. You closed the barrel up, and you left it exactly right there.
Yeah, because trying to think what I did next after that. That's when I went to go talk to the captain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, I went and talked to captain, and
Oh my god. So first, we've got people dying to an affliction that we don't know anything about. Then we've got somebody poisoning them, and we don't know who it is. Now, we've got somebody
says poison.
Now, hold on. Now,
She
hold on.
She walks down. She steps in front of you and says, "Did poison?"
Yeah, apparently. Go talk to Talab. He said the guys were poisoned by a goblet of poison. I don't know.
She marches down the steps.
so that barrel is full of rice. Maybe it went to the kitchen. Maybe they're cooking the rice.
Oh.
Yeah. Your mind is always on food.
Well, I am hungry. Hey, can we get a bite to eat before we go on this trip? Because I don't know if we'll find food out there or not.
You there's a ration of hard salt pork and salt tack, whatever terrible seafood is left. Not seafood.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right.
Sea rations.
If anything, some of the men have cast lines. They're starting to fish and gather supplies, and they're hoping to gather some fresh food and water on land. The captain bursts into the sick room, Talab, and says, "Poison?"
Yes. Yes. How did you know?
Jonas said someone has poisoned these men.
That's what it seems like to me. When I came back from speaking to you, they were all dead. And this poison...
Well, there are not many of us on this ship, Doctor. Who poisoned these men? If it wasn't you, and it wasn't any of this crew...
It was Jonas.
Okay. Wow.
He was here when I was speaking to you. I don't know.
I mean, he's technically correct, right?
I don't know who else it could have been. He denies it, but I don't know who else it could have been. I don't want to believe that he did that.
Hey, Dan, what's the name of the next campaign?
Yeah. What's the...
I think, Captain...
I didn't know they had buses here. Jeez.
I think, Captain, if I may, I think he meant it as a mercy. I don't think it was intentionally meant to be harmful. They were dying, but it is what happened. I would not have done it. My choice. See how the disease progressed until that happened. But again, they're dead. There's nothing we can do about it.
I will not sail with a murderer aboard my ship, Doctor.
Well, many of your men are still sick, whatever illness may be, so we should probably find a cure. I'd be happy to help with that. I'm sure Jonas can explain himself if he can admit doing it. It's your call, Captain.
She looks at you and says, "Come with me." She comes up to the deck of the ship and she says, "Verk,
Yes.
I believe there could be hope for these sick men aboard that island. Sorry, at that shore.
Yeah,
Take
we're gonna get a
Jonas.
mask to get us back home, right?
Right. Take Jonas and Talab with you. They're to look for some herb, some panacea for these men.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So we're gonna pick flowers and trees. Got it.
correct, actually. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it. She leans into you, Talab, and says, Doctor, if you come back to the ship, it should be without that man. If you return with him, neither of you will see the next shore.
Understood.
Inter-party conflict!
It'll be a shame not to see your face again.
Ooh. She kind of like starts back. Surprised by that. What are you saying, Doctor?
Nothing. Just that you have a beautiful face. And I never forget it.
It's true. All right. Vark is just standing there like, well, I've been ready to go. I don't know what this is. A couple rowboats are gathered, and you guys depart for the island. Jonas, do you have a problem with this captain ordering you to go ashore?
So hold on. Let me just make sure I know I fully get the circumstance. So Talab and Captain are down below deck. He outs me, and she comes back on deck and says, "Verk, take the rest of the party." She doesn't say Davros.
Or I meant to say that.
Okay, all right. So it's the whole party.
Because you guys are all friends, so like
Yeah.
I was probably already down there getting ready anyway. So.
Yeah.
That's fine. So I wouldn't know why she's all of a sudden demanding. You know, she kind of gave the order to Verk to take men, and then now she's saying, no, all of you guys go. So I feel.
Well, she did say specifically Jonas and Talab need to go look for a cure. It's reasonable you could still put two and two together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of putting two and two together, and yeah, I definitely hesitate and push back on. I have a prized belonging that I'm missing that I'm looking for, so I'll join them, and you know, as soon
when
as
you're
I
on the ship, Jonas, you're a member of my crew. And when you're a member of my crew, you obey the captain.
That's self-fulfilling, isn't it? A little bit. I mean, I've captained a crew before.
Godspeed, man! And she turns and walks away.
Yeah.
And you're kind of pushed along with a group of people towards the boats.
Yeah. Okay.
Perhaps as you're delivering, you're like, well, I was once a captain. As you're just like being pushed aboard, and then they like now you're on the rowboat. Did you have something?
I mean, just to sow insurrection.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
just to
This poor crew that has a great aspect in play. We have seen worse. You've led them through this terrible thing in the world of Crucibles. They got this big morale bonus, and they didn't tear the ship apart.
As I'm getting pushed kind of by the crew and Verk turning his back, moving towards the are we moving towards rowboats, or are we like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
I'm like, and where's Ives, Captain?
It's Eve.
Eves, whatever.
But just Eve, no S.
Oh, okay.
Eve. Spelled Yves. So I get why you would pronounce it that way, but
I gotcha.
it's pronounced Eve. Ooh, yeah. Where is Eve? This is an interesting little soap opera we've got here. So Davros killed.
How would he know about that? Because he was down below deck when all that happened.
That is true.
I feel like he was asking about
They-
Eve
they
while I
were-
was up on deck.
They were.
Oh,
looking-
so you genuinely don't know that Davros? You know he's gone, but you don't know that Davros killed him.
Correct. Yeah.
right.
Oh, so he's genuinely he's just trying to sow insurrection. Who knows what happened to him? He doesn't know that you killed him.
But he's
Might
assuming
not
there's
work
foul
out in
play.
Jonas's favor,
Yeah.
especially because he's just been accused of poisoning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Maybe you killed Mr. Eve. The men kind of mumble to themselves. So the rowboat set off towards the mainland. I'm going to say the navigator comes with you because I want you guys to have options. If you want to bounce at any point, I don't want to railroad you. And since she's your ticket out of here, she'll come with you. So if whatever you want to do, you have the option. You guys row towards land, and as you're rowing, Jodis, you look into the water, and you see what looks like a very faint flash of green. And you hear a note. A low, mournful note. And then it's
Do
gone.
I hear this?
Davros, you don't.
Now we're in the water between the boat and the shore.
Correct.
Okay. Do I feel like there is imminent, with hearing this note and seeing this thing, do I feel like there's an absolute imminent threat? Or is it just
No.
a residual, like, there may be more of those things in the water, so...
It feels very far away. In fact, you're certain it is at the bottom of the ocean. And you are struck with a mild curiosity that you've never seen what the bottom of the ocean looks like, and you'd be kind of curious to know.
Good thing I didn't do that, huh?
And then the momentary curiosity passes.
I am as a PC, not at all curious as to what the bottom of the oceen...
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff down there. There's anglerfish and who knows what else.
Brianna?
Brianna, dark elder gods, whatever. Like, there's all kinds of stuff.
Who am I in a rowboat with?
You're
Well-
in the rowboat with the party and Talab
Okay.
and a couple of the other guys. As you guys approach the shore, the navigator, her eyes kind of roll back, and she looks past the forest and then kind of snaps back. And she looks back at you, Davros, and the compass says, "The navigator has found a truth. Would you like to hear it?"
Yes.
Across the forest, there is a cruel sign. The sign is true, but you will not want to hear it. The navigator looks at you and shrugs. She's not like intentionally cryptic. She can only she decrypts these like strange clues and also has no idea what they mean, more or less.
This isn't a psionic link to Davros, right? This is out
No,
loud.
you guys hear this, by the way. The crew
Thank
is
you.
super weirded out by this.
Yeah.
FYI.
So there's a truth in the world, and it tells us that there's a truth on the other side of the island, and we won't like it.
Yeah,
There's a sign on the other side
a
of the
cruel
forest.
sign. A cruel sign.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what the sign tells you will be true, and you won't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. We're just,
I think that's a good place to end the session. I'm gonna put a. I'm gonna remove the old Rose Garden knows everything from a world aspect because it's not really impactful right now. I'm gonna replace this with a cruel sign, and you will not like it. So that's a world aspect in play now. Which I mean, it's a good first session to start off to get in the swing of things. I think I'm going to drop the refresh. So the way truth well, the way Fate works is your refresh score goes back up every session. You get those 3. You start at 3 every time. The problem is with these short sessions, no one even got close to running out of truth.
Yeah.
So we should probably lower it. I'm going to lower it to 2. I'm going to right now, Verk's already at 2. I'm going to make everybody at 2. Everyone, I think, already is at 2. Okay. No, you're spent. You want to keep your spent, Ted.
Oh,
that
sorry.
that is persistent.
Oh, from session to session.
Yes.
Ah.
That's a mechanic I'm doing where once you get 10 of those over the course of all the sessions, you can put a world aspect into play of your choosing. Make up one from scratch.
Yeah, you're right. Wouldn't have made sense to have 10 from one session.
Yeah. Now, I also want to encourage you guys, since this is Fate, you want to be constantly burning Fate points. You want to have that Fate economy. You want to be like spending them, making big plays, doing bold stuff. You are much more so than D&D. You have a lot of power over the narrative in Fate. You can make calls that I can't stop you from making, like in D&D. D&D, I'm the DM, I can just say that doesn't happen. In Fate, I'm like, well, I don't have an aspect like that says you can't do that, and so sure, I guess you can. Like, and then you can make up aspects and you can put things in play completely of your own.
Why don't we keep it at 3 just for one more, just to see if we do try to spend more?
That's true. We'll try it one more.
We'll
try one more at 3, but really make an effort on like make plays, burn aspects.
I think with that in mind, and as we get a little bit more comfortable with the system, we'll spend the 3.
Okay. I'll try to put in some more challenges. I thought so. Normally, Fate, you want to keep your challenges around 1 or 2 to start because it's pretty hard to get higher than that. You guys ended up making a bunch of them. The ones you didn't make, you guys seemed pretty much okay with not making them. So I'll perhaps adjust some of my obs for the next session as well. Cool. All right, guys. Good session. Good start. I can't wait for you guys to find this cruel sign that you won't like, and I'll catch you all on the flip.
Yeah. Thanks, awesome. Man. Thanks, guys.
Good. All right, fellas. Find a tree early and get the hell out of there.
And bail.
and the book also.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. That's session. So that's episode 1. Well, technically episode 2, I guess, but that's our full first proper session. I appreciate everybody who was able to tune in and say hi and everything. We are a party on the move. Traversing a piece of land that our ship has docked nearby, looking for a cure for a disease that we don't know anything about, and trying to find a mast to repair the one that was broken during a lightning strike and a fervent storm, if you will. So it should be pretty interesting. There's plenty of inter-party conflict going on and some craziness, so it should be a pretty good time. Seeing how Jonas's merciful attitude plays off with Captain Rilo, and seeing if they can come to some sort of agreement, maybe when they return to the boat, or if the party even returns to the boat at all. So we'll see. We will be talking on Discord as a party. We'll be talking as a group, and kind of still fleshing out the schedule. I know Thursdays are not great for a Twitch audience to begin with, and also we may want to adjust some things with that audience piece. So please bear with us. Follow me on Twitter. Follow the stream if you guys get a chance. And you will see the updates and when we go live and notifications and stuff. But I will do my best to get that communication and stuff out to you guys. And as always, as these episodes are a day or two old, I will get them exported over to YouTube, so people can enjoy them on demand from a YouTube channel, not just from Twitch on demand, which sometimes can be a little more cumbersome to navigate and stuff. So feel free to hit me up on YouTube and subscribe. Also, I have the Discord server. If you guys want to get a message to me, you can feel free to message me on Twitter and tag me, or you can always hit me up on our Discord server, which the information is down below on the panels. And once you join our server, you can hop into general chat and talk to us about what's going on. If you have questions for us, or you were interested in stuff, or you want to find out about what's going on or whatever. So I appreciate it, and thanks again. And we'll be seeing you guys shortly for session proper 2 of Heliotrope Cathedral: A Needle Made of Thread.